Live from Hero Arena at Mountain America Center, it's Utah Grizzlies hockey. As tonight's the first of two preseason games as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyson Whiting. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey here on this Friday night. As Grizzlies and Steelheads rivalry is in Idaho Falls for the first time in the beautiful new Hero Arena at Mountain America Center, as looks like it's going to be about a sellout crowd, and it looks like an outstanding atmosphere. And really a beautiful brand new arena that I think was just built and finished a little under a year ago. So I think we got a good stage set here as the Grizzlies and Steelheads, for my money, is the best rivalry in the league. And think about how last season ended for the Grizzlies. They won the first two games of a best-of-7 first-round series in Boise at Idaho Central Arena, and then the Steelheads responded with 4 straight overtime wins. The Grizzlies lost in the first round in 6 games. The Idaho Steelheads went on to win the Western Conference before they were swept in 4 games by the Florida Everblades, who have now won back-to-back championships. Well, Idaho is trying to complete the deal and win the championship this season. They've got a lot of veterans. Matt Register and A.J. White, both of them are not going to be in the Idaho lineup tonight. As for the Grizzlies, they've got a lot of key returning forwards, including Brandon Cutler, who's on an AHL two-way deal. He's with the Grizzlies this season. He at times was outstanding for Utah. The Rooster, Jordan Martell, who really ended last season strong, he's poised to have a big year for the Grizzlies. He'll be in there wearing number 27. Dakota Raby's back, as is Dylan Fitz and Tyler Penner, and quite a few other Grizzlies. The Grizzlies and Steelheads both have about half their roster returning from last season. So it's going to be a lot of fun here, and it's going to be a great atmosphere, and it looks like we got the stage set for a pretty good game here tonight, the Grizzlies and the Steelheads. When we come back in 30 seconds, we will give you the lineups for both teams. This is the Grizzlies Audio Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
A lot of returning faces for the Grizzlies this season, including the top forward line tonight, which has Dakota Raby, who's going to be wearing number 22. Raby was outstanding at times last season, and you really felt his impact, not only when he was on the ice. Unfortunately, when he was out due to injury, also saw the impact there. He's got outstanding speed, and he's really going to complement Brandon Cutler and Jordan Martell. That's the top forward line for the Grizzlies this evening. And it'll be interesting to see what the new Grizzlies look like, as there's quite a few new Grizzlies defensemen. And I think that's going to be a big storyline, is what's the defensive unit going to look like for the Grizzlies. Starting forwards for tonight are going to be Raby, Martell, and Cutler, as we mentioned. And the Grizzlies are going to be rolling with 18 skaters tonight, as is Idaho. Normally it's 17 skaters in the league, but 17 normally, but 18 here tonight. And the starting forward is going to be Martell, Raby, and Cutler. Starting defensive pairing for the Grizzlies, I think, has got a ton of potential. Josh Wesley, who's the son of former NHL All-Star Glenn Wesley, he'll be one starter wearing number 20. He's a righty shot, and he's 6'3" and about 200 pounds, and it looks like he's going to have an outstanding year for the Grizzlies. He might also spend some time in the AHL with the Colorado Eagles. He is a designated veteran. He's played about 300 games as a pro. He's one of 2 veterans on the Grizzlies to start the season. And if you're talking about a defenseman that really dominated the playoff series against Idaho, you got to look to Kyle Mayhew, who had 2 goals and 1 assist and was a +4 for the Grizzlies in the 6-game playoff series. Wesley and Mayhew are going to be the starting defensive pairing. The starting forwards are Cutler, Raby, and Martell. Let's get to the other forwards in the lineup for the Grizzlies tonight. Some new faces. Dylan Stewart played in Canada in the college for the past 5 seasons. He'll be wearing number 3. He's got good size at 6'1" and 209 pounds. Dean Yakura is in there, 38 years old. He's made the rounds here in professional hockey, even spent some time with the Idaho Steelheads a little over a decade ago. He'll be wearing number 5. Mick Messner is back in the lineup for the Grizzlies. He finished last season with the Grizzlies after college stint with Merrimack College, where he was a teammate of former Grizzly forward Christian Simeone. Messner will be wearing number 10. Dylan Fitz is back with the Grizzlies this season. He hasn't missed a game since he was acquired in a trade in March of 2022. He'll be wearing number 13. He was, in particular, outstanding for the Grizzlies in the final 2 months of the regular season, so it'll be good to see Fitz back in there. In fact, you talk about the last 27 games of the regular season last year, he had 9 goals and 14 assists, and he was certainly a big contributor and certainly a big reason as to why the Grizzlies made the postseason last year. He'll be wearing number 13 for the Grizzlies. Cam Cook had a couple outstanding years with Evansville in the SPHL. He's looking to make the club. He's going to be wearing number 14. Not a very big guy, but he displayed some outstanding speed. Tyler Penner's back in there for the Grizzlies. He'll be wearing number 21. The Iron Man has played in 144 consecutive regular season games over the last 2 years. Jared Power wearing number 19 for the Grizzlies. He had 1 goal in 13 games for the Grizzlies towards the end of last season. Cole Gallant was acquired in a trade where he was acquired by the Grizzlies in a trade with the Trois-Rivières Lions. Gallant will be wearing number 25. He'll be making his Grizzlies debut tonight, and I'm certainly interested in seeing what he looks like. And Kyle Betts, who, like Kyle Mayhew, was outstanding for the Grizzlies in the postseason series. He'll be wearing number 61. And I got a feeling Kyle Betts is going to have a big year for the Grizzlies. So once again, the starting forwards are Raby, Martell, and Cutler. We'll also see Dylan Stewart as well as Dean Ukura and Mick Messner. Dylan Fitz will be in there, as well as Cam Cook, Jared Power, Tyler Penner, and Cole Gallant, as well as Kyle Betts. Grizzlies rolling with 12 forwards tonight. During the second intermission, we'll talk about the Grizzlies forwards. We'll also talk about Idaho's forwards, as the Steelheads are not doing a broadcast tonight, so we'll make sure to cover the Steelheads as well. 6 defensemen for the Grizzlies tonight. We'll talk about the defensemen in depth in the first intermission. There's a lot of new faces, and I'm really excited to see how they perform in game situations. They've all looked good in practice this week. We mentioned the starters, Kyle Mayhew and Josh Wesley. Brian Yoon's going to be making his professional debut tonight. He played at Colorado College for the last 5 years, and he really had a pretty spectacular college career, just a solid defenseman, and I'm really excited to see what he looks like last year at Colorado College. In 38 games, he had 1 goal and 14 assists. He was the captain of Colorado College last season. He'll be in there wearing number 4. We'll see Cade Jensen in there. Jensen was actually a college teammate of Jared Powers out at Mount Royal University. And Jensen brings a lot of size to the table at 6'3" and 218 pounds. You'll also see Michael Underwood wearing number 54. He actually started training camp wearing number 24. Underwood last season played at Michigan State University. Before that, spent 4 years at Clarkson University. Underwood's got pretty decent size at 6'1", 198 pounds, good skater. He'll be in there wearing number 54. And Keone Teixeira is one of 3 assistant captains for the Grizzlies tonight. Teixeira is in his 6th season as a pro. He started his pro career with the Wichita Thunder in the 2018-2019 season. He spent the past 4 years with the Indy Fuel, and he was the captain of the Fuel in the 2021-22 season. Teixeira is going to be a leader for the Grizzlies this year. We mentioned 3 guys wearing the A's on their sweater, Teixeira as well as Josh Wesley. Those 2 are the Grizzlies veterans, and Tyler Penner will also have an A on his sweater. So the Grizzlies rolling with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen here tonight. Starting goaltender is going to be Garrett Metcalf, the Salt Lake City natives, and is going to be starting his 4th season as a pro. In 34 games of the Grizzlies through the end of last season, he's got a record of 15, 11, and 2 with a .904 save percentage and 3.09 goals against average. That's with the Grizzlies. He's also spent some time in the AHL with Colorado, with Lehigh Valley and San Diego. And he's currently on an AHL contract with the Colorado Eagles. The backup goaltender is Dante Giannuzzi, who played in the WHL with the Portland Winterhawks. In fact, Giannuzzi was a teammate of Harriman native and former Grizzly forward Mason Manick for 2 or 3 seasons. So Metcalf will be in net. We'll probably see Giannuzzi tomorrow in Boise. Remember, there's 2 preseason games tonight here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. And then tomorrow the scene shifts to Boise for the Steelheads home game. This is technically a Grizzlies home game. And tomorrow will be a 7 o'clock start. And they'll probably drop the puck around 7:05 or 7:10. Let's get to the lineup of the Idaho Steelheads, led by Everett Sheen, who was the ECHL Coach of the Year last year. Idaho broke so many team records and league records last season. In net, making his Steelheads debut as Caden Fulcher. Last season, he spent some time in the ECHL with Reading and in the AHL with Syracuse. He's on an ECHL contract, but he has some NHL experience. He did play in 1 game with the Detroit Red Wings in the 2018-2019 season. Fulcher will be wearing number 68. He's got good size at 6'4" and 199 pounds. The starting defensive pairing for the Steelheads, Nick Canati, who was particularly impressive in last year's preseason games against the Grizzlies. He's got outstanding speed in 46 games. He had 4 goals and 11 assists. And he'll be paired up with Cody Heiskanen, who was one of the best defensemen in the league last year. Heiskanen, 6'4" and 205 pounds, a native of Fargo, North Dakota. The other defenseman we're expected to see tonight includes Demetrius Kumatsis, who was a college teammate of Grizzlies defenseman Jacob Semick, who's one of 3 scratches tonight. Kumatsis wearing number 23. We'll also see Ben Zloty wearing number 44, Zloty. He absolutely tore up the WHL last year with the Winnipeg Jets. He's currently on an AHL contract with the Dallas Stars, which is the Steelheads AHL affiliate. The Texas Stars, the Dallas Stars, the NHL affiliate of the Steelheads. Grizzlies obviously affiliated with the Colorado Avalanche and the Colorado Eagles. He'll be wearing number 44, and I'm really interested in seeing what he looks like because he could be an outstanding defenseman. Seamus Donahue's also in there wearing number 24 for Idaho. He'll be making his Steelheads debut. He played overseas last year. He's 27 years old, 6 feet, 190 pounds. Cooper Jones on a tryout deal. He'll be in there for Idaho as well, 5'8", 170 pounds. There's 6 defensemen for Idaho tonight. Canadi and Heiskanen are the starters. We'll also see Zloty, Donahue, Kumatsis, and Cooper Jones. Starting forward lineup for these Steelheads, Willie Niram, who scored some big goals against the Grizzlies last year. He'll be wearing number 29. In 53 games, he had 17 goals and 12 assists. Jonas Vandenberg's wearing number 72 in 45 games last year with Idaho. He had 13 goals and 9 assists. And Wade Murphy, who had 21 goals and 22 assists and a plus 38 rating for Idaho last season. Making his Steelheads debut, and I think Idaho fans are really intrigued to see what Mark Rassel looks like. Rassel, Rassell, wearing number 92 last year. He played with Fort Wayne and had about 20 goals, and he also spent some time in the AHL with Bakersfield. Rassel, 6'1", 185 pounds, and he could end up being that guy that could replace Ryan Domowski, who's not with Idaho anymore, as one of their leading scorers. So watch out for Mark Rassel wearing number 92. We'll also see Jack Becker in there for Idaho, as well as Zane Franklin. Sean McBride played overseas last year, but he's in his second stint with Idaho. He'll be wearing number 19. Jade Miller, who's been a consistent force for Idaho last year and really over the last 3 years in this league. He spent some time with South Carolina in a previous year. He'll be wearing number 26. Colton Keller plays a good two-way game. He'll be in there wearing number 34. Aaron Aragon wearing number 28 will be in there, as well as Nick Nardella, who's on an ECHL contract, and Daniel Hardy, who's on a tryout deal. We'll obviously talk about the Steelheads and Grizzlies forwards in the second intermission. We'll talk about the defensive pairings of both teams in the first intermission. Let's pause for our national anthem. is our national anthem here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center as the Grizzlies take the ice wearing a white jersey with black numbers and professional green trim. Idaho wearing a black jersey with white numbers and a little bit of silver on the shoulders. For the Grizzlies, looks like a pretty similar logo to what they had in previous years. Idaho looks like they made a little bit of moderation and just some subtle changes to their black jersey this season. These teams will meet 14 times in the regular season, plus 2 here in the preseason, 1 tonight and tomorrow in Boise. And you never know if it's anything like it has been in previous years. These teams might meet in the postseason. Both clubs looking for a Mountain Division championship. Utah was the Mountain Division champs in the 2021-22 season. Last year, Idaho just dominated the league all the way to the finals, winning the Western Conference and losing in 4 games to the Florida Everblades. Referee tonight is John Lindner. The linesmen are Craig Peterson and Randy Culver. Brandon Cutler will take the draw against Jonas Vandenbergs. Grizzlies skate from right to left here in the first period. Idaho from left to right as we see it from the corner. Utah wins the draw. Mayhew gets to Josh Wesley. Will ice the puck. The arm is raised by the linesman, and he got some help from Caden Fulcher. The Idaho goaltender is wearing number 68, making his Steelheads debut. As we mentioned before, he actually played in 1 NHL game with the Detroit Red Wings back in the 2018-2019 season. Cutler will take the draw against Vandenbergs in the Grizzlies zone on the near side with Garrett Metcalf, the big goaltender in net for Utah. At 6'4" and 190 pounds. He's probably more like 6'6" and 200 pounds as the draw goes towards the end boards. Mayhew in the near corner gets it, and he'll thread ahead to Raby. He'll lead it to Martell. Now right wing pass goes to Martell. Back to Raby. Shot, and it goes just wide. Fulcher trying to cover up, and a Steelhead gets it. As Idaho skating from left to right, lifts it high into the air, and it bounces in the Grizzlies zone as Mayhew gets this. He extends his stick near Metcalf. He'll throw it to Josh Wesley, who outlets it to Dakota Raby, who gets out of the Grizzlies zone. He crosses center ice with speed. Now he'll veer off to the left. He'll skate towards the left circle. Lefty shot. Kick saved by Fulcher. And the rebound goes to Idaho. Steelheads attack as Idaho skates towards the left side. They'll get to the circle. Center pass. Shot saved by Metcalf. As what a pass by Mark Rassel as he fed it out in front to Seamus Donahue. Donahue had a grade A chance right in front of Garrett Metcalf, but the Salt Lake City native was able to make the save and cover up as we get a whistle. For some reason, the clock is still moving as we're 1 minute in. Still early on, so grab some chips and dip and a beverage of your choice and enjoy a little bit of Friday night with us as the Grizzlies begin the preseason here against the Idaho Steelheads. Colton Keller talks things up with the other Steelheads as Jack Becker will take the draw against Kyle Betts. Betts was outstanding in the faceoff circle in his limited time with the Grizzlies last year. He spent the majority of the season in the AHL with the Belleville Senators. Draws on the far side, still no score. Grizzlies 2 shots, Idaho's taken 1. As Utah wins the draw, as skating around his net is Cade Jensen, the Mount Royal product. He'll throw it back towards Jared Power. It goes past him. Those two are teammates out Mount Royal over the last few years. As Idaho skates back behind their own nets, picked off of the right wing by Betts. He'll feed it across, looking for Power, who couldn't handle it. And the puck glides towards Fulcher, who covers up as we get a whistle with 18:42 left in the first. Betts talking things over with Michael Underwood. Interesting to see what the defensemen look like tonight for the Grizzlies. There's a lot of new members of the defensive unit. Kyle Mayhew, limited time with the Grizzlies at the end of the regular season. The playoffs last year, Jacob Semick out of the lineup, as is Corey Thomas and Jordan Stone. So a lot of new faces on the blue line for the Grizzlies. Idaho wins the draw on the near side as the Steelheads in their own zone skating from left to right as they'll get it towards number 44, Ben Zalotti, who tore up the WHL, and he was outstanding the last 3 years with the Winnipeg Ice. Zalotti near side, good skater, gets the center ice, gets around Betts. Zalotti skates towards the right circle. He gets it poked away by Jensen wearing number 23, which was worn by Kyle Pouncey last year. Underwood battles along the end boards with Colton Keller, and the puck goes back towards center ice where it's taken by Cooper Jones wearing number 21 in a tryout deal. He'll throw it ahead to Sean McBride in his second stint with the Steelheads. He played overseas last year, ricocheted off the far boards. Kumatsi throws to the left point. Lefty shot is blocked out in front as it was about 5 feet in front of Metcalf when it was blocked. Kumatsi skates towards the right point, tries to get around Brian Uno. Fire lefty shot, kick saved by Metcalf. Rebound shot, saved by Metcalf again. Rebound goes back towards Utah as McMessner, number 10, gets it ahead. Left wing, Dylan Fitz skates down the middle. Take a righty shot, saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes to Idaho. Steelheads throw it out to center ice. It bounces it off of Cade Jensen and Messner as Grizzlies roll it around the boards. Yoon will throw it to the far side as he tried to throw it to the point, and Dylan Fitz couldn't reach it. And icing is on the Grizzlies with 17:29 left here in the first. Grizzlies have taken 4 shots. Idaho's taken 3 here early on. First of 2 preseason games. Looks like there's hardly any empty seats here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. Remember, tomorrow the Grizzlies will take on the Steelheads at 7 o'clock over at Idaho Central Arena. Penner will take the draw against Nick Nardello of Idaho. Penner, the Grizzlies Iron Man, he hasn't missed a game over the last 2 years. Penner sporting a beard, the Colgate University product. Talking with Craig Peterson. Puck is dropped in the Grizzlies zone near side, and the puck glides towards the end boards. Keone Teixeira will slide it towards the near side as the puck exits the zone. Nick Canati chases after the Idaho blue line. He gets there before Messner. As Canati, rink-wide pass goes to center ice. Now Idaho will skate across the offensive line. They'll get to the left wing. Idaho, backhand shot goes wide. And now Heiskanen will skate around the net. He's being shadowed by Dean Yakura. He'll feed it to the left point. Lefty shot saved by Metcalf. That shot was taken by Nick Canati, who had 4 goals and 11 assists for the Steelheads last year. Both teams have 4 shots. Nobody has found the score sheet as of yet, as there's 17:01 left in the first. Grizzlies head coach Ryan Kanasowicz is entering his 3rd season with the club. The assistant coach this season is Christian Horn. He replaces Jared Pike. As a drop, won by the Grizzlies. Josh Wesley wearing number 20, tries to move it ahead. Battle along the far boards. Wesley gets it. He'll throw it across to Mayhew. Well, that's to Cameron Cook wearing number 14. He gets the center ice left wing. He'll drive it towards the right corner as Idaho gets back up with it. Still heads to the left side. Gets it poked away by Wesley as now the puck looks like it settles out of play into section 111. As good battle by the Grizzlies. Josh Wesley's one of those guys who's going to add a little bit of size, and the Grizzlies are a little bit bigger on the defensive unit this season. Wesley, 6'3", 201 pounds, a righty shot, and he really pairs up well with Kyle Mayhew. Those two seem to be the first 2 on the ice for every practice this week. Wesley, the son of former NHL All-Star and Stanley Cup champ Glenn Wesley, who actually spent 20 years in the NHL. Face off at center ice, won by the Grizzlies, skating from right to left. Josh Wesley gets it. He'll drive it around the boards. Fulcher cuts it off behind his net as the Steelheads start the attacks. They move it head to Willie Nerum. He couldn't handle it as it glanced off his stick, and it goes all the way down for an icing as it goes past the Grizzlies' goal line as Nerum touched the puck in Steelheads territory. Grizzlies make a line change. Cade Jensen and Michael Underwood are out there. Top forward line tonight is Jordan Martell, Dakota Raby, and Brandon Cutler's down the middle taking the face-off. That's going to be a pretty good 3-man unit for the Grizzlies. All 3 returning from last season. Watch out for Martell. I think he's going to have a big year offensively, especially on the power play. We've been playing 5-on-5 this entire time. Face-off goes towards the near corner. Raby and Martell battle with 2 Steelheads. Raby comes out with the puck as he'll throw it back towards Martell. And it's picked off by Ben Zalati of Idaho. As the Steelheads throw it out to neutralize. It's taken back by Jensen. He has his pass picked off by Willie Nerum, who's got great size as he'll feed it into the near corner. Underwood chases after. He gets blasted by Wade Murphy as Raby gets it over to Martell, who skates out of the zone, neutralized, left wing pass to Cutler, who steps over the offensive line, back over to Martell, tries to feed it out in front to Cutler. He gathered the pass but didn't have a shooting angle, so he'll just skate towards the right point. Now he skates towards his left and feeds it to the near corner. Idaho gathers it as they bobble the puck for a second. Kumatsis, the Arizona State product, will throw it towards Jack Becker, who also played at Arizona State. As they get it ahead, Zane Franklin sporting the beard. Number 61 gets across center ice. He dumps it in. As the Steelheads, Jack Becker gets held up by Teixeira, wearing number 74's Teixeira. As Becker over in the corner gets pushed by Yoon, the Colorado College captain last year. As Franklin battles, he'll tap it off the skate of Martell. Now out in front, puck goes to the crease, and Metcalf covers up as Mark Rassel is battling with Brandon Cutler. Boy, Mark Rassel looks like he's got good size. Listed at 6'1", 185, but it looks like he's a pretty strong player. It's hard to tell in a hockey uniform, but he's somebody to watch out for. He had an outstanding year with Fort Wayne last season, and with Idaho losing Ryan Domowski, Mark Rassel could end up being one of those guys that could end up having a 20-plus goal-scoring season. Draw on the near side, 15-20 left in the first period, still no score. As the Steelheads skate in, slot shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound out in front goes to Cole Gallant, number 25. That was the number worn by Mick Messner at the end of last year. Kyle Betts left wing pass towards Jared Power. Back to Betts, lefty shot. Saved by Fulcher. It deflects off of him and goes off the protective netting and out of play as we get a whistle with 15:05 left in the first. Idaho's taken 6 shots. The Grizzlies have taken 5. Draw's going to be in the Idaho zone. For my money, it's the best rivalry in the league. The Grizzlies and Steelheads. They met 18 times in the regular season last year, 6 in the playoffs and 2 in the preseason. This year, 2 preseason games, 14 in the regular season, and they might end up meeting the playoffs one again, as these two teams can end up battling for the Mountain Division title. Looks like it'll be a tough division this year, though, as Idaho wins the faceoff. Kanadi with good speed skates around his net. Now he feeds it out to center ice. It bounces off of Keller and goes deep into the Grizzlies zone as Cade Jensen gets it in the near side. He gets hit hard by Keller. Plays a good, strong, physical two-way game. Jade Miller throws to the near corner, taken by Power. He throws it behind his back for Betts. Betts crosses center ice. He veers off to the right as he steps over the offensive blue line. Gets it towards Mayhew. Mayhew gets around Svanenbergs. He feeds it back towards Gallant. Gallant loses the puck as he ends up on one knee. Idaho carries it out to neutral ice. Steelheads cross center and dump it in. As falling down as he was dumping in was Sean McBride, number 19. Jensen, near wing pass to Messner, who gets to neutral ice. He'll feed across. It goes off the boards. Idaho gets it. They skate towards the left side. Righty shot. Kick saved by Metcalf. That shot was taken by Nick Nardella. As Fitz, rink-wide pass is picked off by Idaho. They're at center ice. Nardella skates in right wing. He'll take a righty shot, and it's blocked by the stick of Underwood. As Fitz throws it back towards Nardella in the near side. He gets pushed by Underwood. Nardella trying to throw it towards the right point, and it exits his zone as Ben Zalotti will reset for Idaho as he peels back into his own zone. 6 minutes in, still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-5. As Idaho, Daniel Hardy will throw it to the left wing. It goes off a stick of Idaho as the Steelheads throw it back to the corner. Underwood gets it poked away, and it goes towards Dean Yakura, the 38-year-old former Steelhead. He played last year with Norfolk and Greenville. As Idaho throws it back towards the right side, as Cooper Jones around the wall. Fitz gets it in the far corner, deep in the Grizzly zone. He throws to the point. Idaho keeps it in. Steelheads throw it back to the corner. Fitz picks it off. He'll bounce it off of Underwood, who's wearing number 54. He wore number 24 earlier in camp. Cade Jensen lifts it high into the air, and it goes back to the Steelheads as Idaho moves ahead. Wade Murphy will throw it back into his own zone. Cooper Jones chases after it. We're 7 minutes in, still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-5. As Idaho spreads the ice, they'll throw a rink-wide pass, and Willie Nearham couldn't reach it, and icing is on the Steelheads with 12:57 left in the first. I like what I've seen from the Grizzlies' defensive unit so far. It looks like they're a little bit bigger than last year. Keone Teixeira adds some size and strength to the lineup, as does Cade Jensen. As Martel talking with Teixeira. Teixeira was the captain of the Indy Fuel in the 2021-22 season. As the draw won by Idaho, as they're deep in their own zone, skating from left to right here in the first period. Nearham battles with Teixeira. Puck goes towards the high slot. Cutler, lefty shot, saved by Fulcher. As Cutler reached out towards his left, kept the puck in the offensive zone, fired a shot, and Fulcher made the save. As 12:48 is left in the first. And looks like we'll play on. Normally this would be a media timeout. I know at Maverick Center it's under 14 and under 6. But it looks like we'll play on here. I'm not sure when the media timeouts are, if there are any. We'll just kind of battle through as draws going to be on the far side. As face off, Cutler takes it, but the puck goes all the way towards the near side. Idaho gathers it. They lift it high into the air. Not gloved by Yoon, and it's going to be icing on the Steelheads again with 12:41 left in the first. Well, it's fun to see live hockey back in the arena. This is an outstanding atmosphere, and I got to say I've been pretty impressed with the building. Locker rooms looked outstanding. Get out to the concourse. It's nice and spacious. The lighting's good here. Like the scoreboards. This is a nice place. Home of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. And they're in their second year of existence. Straub goes towards neutral ice. Idaho chasing after it. They get it. Zane Franklin, right side, looks to center it, and it goes off of Rassel. Get back to Franklin. Shot goes wide as puck goes back towards Franklin, left side. As action in the Grizzly zone, they feed across to Haskin. He couldn't handle it. He now gathers it and throws it off the end boards. Kanadi skates towards the near corner, being shadowed by Cutler. Kanadi will fire it towards the far corner as Franklin battles with Yoon. Franklin gets it. He fires it out in front. It goes wide towards the high slot. Kanadi with a shot, and looked like that one landed in Rexburg. Nowhere near the net. Cutler towards Brian Yoon, who skates around Metcalf's net. He gets the puck at the far side. Martel back towards Yoon. Big collision with the referee involved. Martel gets the puck back. He'll throw it to Raby. He crosses center ice with speed. He veers off to the left as he steps over the offensive blue line. As Raby goes down as he was tripped by Zalotti, no call. Idaho gets it towards center ice. They'll dump it towards Metcalf, and Garrett gets it on 2 hops of the ice and covers up as we get a whistle with 11:44 left in the first. A lot of good action on both sides. Idaho's missing some key players. Obviously, it's a preseason, so some of the most experienced Steelheads are out. A.J. White, Matt Register is actually the defenseman of the year in 3-ice last season. Ty Pelton-Bice out of the lineup as well, and Patrick Cudla's not in there. As drawn the far side of the Grizzlies zone, and it's won by Idaho. As Sean McBride will throw it towards the left point. Zalotti keeps it in. He'll skate from one side to the other. He's now in the right circle, back in, shot. Saved by Metcalf. He had good steam on that one. Grizzlies get the rebound and start the attack from right to left. Bet skates towards the left circle. Lefty shot is blocked by the stick of McBride, who's looked impressive here in the first 9 minutes for Idaho. McBride battles with Kyle Betts. 2-on-2 battle over in the far corner of the Steelhead zone. I'm over in the opposite corner, so it's tough to see at times as the puck glides towards Fulcher. He keeps the play alive as he'll throw it towards the defenseman. Now it goes back towards Colton Keller. He's deep in the Steelhead zone, trying to get to Zalotti. He gets challenged. Now the Steelheads move it ahead as they lift it out to center ice, bouncing puck towards center ice far side. Collides off Mayhew's stick and goes towards Underwood, who gets it back to Mayhew's at the Utah blue line. He'll get towards center ice, and he'll move it ahead towards Fitz. Fitz skates towards the right side, looks to center it, and it's picked off by Idaho. It's a strong defensive unit. As Fitz towards the far corner, throws it around the wall, but Messner was skating the other way. As Idaho throws it towards the near circle, it's taken by number 10, Nick Nardella, who's had a couple shots for Idaho so far. Still had to throw it out to center ice. Underwood gets it. He'll move it ahead to Fitz. Left wing pass to Messner. Steps over the line, skates towards the left circle. Lefty shot, and a blocker saved by Fulcher. Puck goes back to neutral ice. As Cade Jensen will tap it off the boards on the far side. Penner couldn't locate it. As Idaho moves it back towards Utah blue line, Underwood will throw it to Messner. Messner over to Dylan Stewart, number 3. Stewart takes a right wing shot that goes wide. Stewart battling behind Idaho's net with 3 Steelheads. He'll skate towards the far corner. Now he feeds it up top for Yoon. Across to Teixeira. Back to Yoon in the high slot. As he'll give it over towards Cameron Cook. Right circle, lefty shot, saved by Fulcher. Battle for the rebound. Stewart gets it. Stewart gets held up, no call, as we haven't had a penalty here in the first half of the first period. Idaho dumps it in. The arm is raised by the linesman, but no icing on the play. As Cook towards the near side, we'll move it ahead to Stewart. Dylan Stewart wearing number 3. Right wing pass to Yoon is a good skater. Yoon stops near the far corner, deep in the Steelhead zone. As Ukura gets hit, Ukura gets it back. He'll feed it up top, left point for Teixeira. Back to Yoon, as he'll throw it off of Ukura wearing number 5. And now to the right side, Cameron Cook. He'll skate towards the far corner. He'll chip it around the wall. Raby enters the zone, as he'll give it over towards the high slot. Josh Wesley's shot is blocked. Now right wing centering pass, shot, and it goes wide as it bounced off of Fulcher's pad. Now Idaho crosses center ice as Jensen pokes it away, and it goes out of play as we finally get a whistle with 9:05 left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho's taken 10 shots, and the Grizzlies have taken 9. Utah Grizzlies hockey is brought to you by Rio Tinto Kennecott. Proudly producing premier American copper and proudly celebrating 120 years of operations in the Utah community. Grizzlies hockey also brought to you by Coca-Cola, where real magic is only a sip away. And by America First Credit Union. Remember, the first AFCU Friday of the regular season will be against the Idaho Steelheads. That's 2 weeks from now on Friday, October 27th. And with AFCU Friday, tickets start just $8 when you pay using your AFCU debit or credit card at the Maverick Center box office. Back after this word from Rio Tinto.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
No score here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. It's a mouthful to say. I'm just knocking off a little bit of the rust from this past season, as it was a pretty long off season. A little bit shorter for Idaho, who reached the Kelly Cup Finals. They lost in 4 straight games to the Florida Everblades. Grizzlies looking to bounce back from last season. It looks like a pretty good forward unit, especially with the line that's out there right now of Dakota Raby, Brandon Cutler, and Jordan Martell from left to right. And the thing about Martell, he's got that lethal one-timer, and he can score from either the left circle or the right side. First intermission will break down the defensive units on both teams, and in the second intermission will break down the forwards and the goaltenders as well. Neutral zone draw in Steelheads territory near side as Cutler will take the draw. Utah wins the face-off, skating from right to left during the first period as Cade Jensen, far side, wraps it around the boards, cut off by Fulcher. It goes towards Heiskanen, the top defenseman for Idaho last year, along with Register. As Idaho enters the zone, Kanadi, left circle, looked to center it, but Becker couldn't reach it. Grizzlies gather it. Cutler skates from right to left. Pass ahead as it goes to Martell. Grizzlies actually from right to left as Martell to the right side. Righty shot, saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes out towards the end boards as Cutler battles. He battles with Heiskanen. Now another Steelhead takes it, and they skate towards the corner. Grizzlies keep it in left side as Cutler throws it towards the near circle. The only guy there was a Steelhead. Cody Heiskanen will carry it out of the zone. He tried to move it ahead, but it glanced off a Mayhew stick and flies out of play as we get a whistle with 8:24 left in the first. Still no score. Both goaltenders have looked sharp so far. Metcalf entering his fourth season as a pro. It's interesting to see what Dylan Fulcher looks like. Idaho looks like they're breaking in some new goalies last year. Fulcher played with Reading last year and also spent a game or two in the AHL with Syracuse. He previously had some time in this league, mostly with the Toledo Walleye a few years ago. Idaho wins the draw as they'll get it to center ice and lightly tap it in as Keller chases after it. Underwood gets there first for Utah as Keller battles with Underwood behind the net. Big time hit as Jensen knocked down Keller. Keller gets back to his feet. He gets it in the left circle as he'll skate towards the point. Idaho fakes a shot. Zalotti skates towards his right. He'll get to McBride as it's poked away by Fitz. Or make that Jensen. Jensen 23 as McBride throws it to Jade Miller, number 26. He'll throw it over to the left side. Zalotti one-timer and it's blocked out in front. Actually, it was Donahue as Zalotti, the other defenseman. It goes back towards Utah. Bets over towards Underwood on the far side. He's deep in the Grizzly zone. He'll throw it out to center ice. It glances off the stick of number 25, Cole Gallant. Gallant will fire a rink-wide pass to Betts, who lightly taps it deep in the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies make a line change. 7.5 minutes left in the first period. Still no score. As Seamus Donahue throws it across as Idaho spreads the ice. They get it towards number 7, Daniel Hardy. He glanced it with his stick. He regathers it. He gets blasted by Teixeira as puck lines deep in the Steelhead zone. Messner gets it to the near side as he gets pushed by number 24, Donahue. As battle over in the near corner goes to Idaho. As Hardy loses the puck, it goes back to another Steelhead. As Donahue gets poked away, as Brian Yoon gets pushed towards the far glass near center ice. As Yoon dumps it in, as a Steelhead is still laying on the ice and is hurt. As Donahue's slow to get back to his feet and make that Kumat Cease, number 23. Boy, I'm rusty as you-know-what. As fits over towards the near side. As pass at center ice is picked off near the Spud Kings logo, which is a spectacular-looking junior hockey logo. Idaho at their blue line will reset, skating from left to right. As Idaho in the black jerseys tonight gets over to Willie Nerum at the Utah blue line. It's poked away. As Yakura throws it ahead. Idaho, right point, shots blocked by Yakura, who gathers the puck and throws it to Dylan Stewart on the right side. Stewart tried to dump it in and bounced it off of Svanenbergs, who's had some success against the Grizzlies last year. Now Kanadi takes the puck as he skates towards the near side. Kanadi being shadowed by Dylan Stewart, the other number 3. As Kanadi deep in the Steelhead zone will fire it across as Cody Heiskanen gets to neutral ice. He'll feed it towards the far side. Jack Becker gets it. He swings and misses. Now it's taken back by Heiskanen. Righty shot goes wide. As might have gotten a piece of the side of the net as Grizzlies. Mayhew throws it to the far side, goes back to the right point. Idaho in the attack zone. Near him, over to Heiskanen, right side. He feeds it across. Zalotti wearing number 44. The first-year pro, Zalotti dances around. He skates towards his right. Now he gets to Heiskanen. Righty shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound out in front goes to Yakura, and he'll clear it out. Looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies, as that was a blast by Cody Heiskanen from the high slot. Metcalf made the save. A little bit of change out in front, but Yakura was there able to get the rebound and clear it out. So draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone. 5:37 left in the first. Idaho's taken 12 shots. The Grizzlies have taken 9. Idaho is one of the teams in the league that really does maybe as good a job as anybody at controlling the pace of a game. I think what you have to like here from the Grizzlies through the first 15 minutes is looks like the Grizzlies have been able to control the pace of the game just as much as Idaho. A lot of good back and forth action. Yakura will take the draw. He has some words with Josh Wesley, who's had an interesting hockey background, 167 games of AHL experience. And off the draw, Franklin goes down. Penalties called as touching it up is Cameron Clark. We get a whistle as it looks like a slashing call is going to be made, as there was some action out in front of Metcalf about 20 feet. And so it looks like going to the Rogers and to the penalty box is going to be Cameron Cook. We hope Rogers and Russell are back for another year, because that was just an outstanding read there for penalties. But Idaho's going to be on the power play for the first time tonight as Cam Cook heads to the penalty box. From where we're sitting in the corner here, the benches are on the near side. The penalty box is over on the far side. Taking the face-off for Idaho is going to be Sean McBride, who's been one of the more impressive Steelheads here so far. For the Grizzlies, it's going to be Brandon Cutler. Kyle Betts out there, as well as Jensen and Underwood. Idaho wins the draw. Kanadi gets it to Heiskanen. Back to Kanadi in the left side. Back to Franklin. Now to Heiskanen. Over to McBride in the right side. Back to Heiskanen. He'll get to McBride just outside the right circle. Feed to the near goal line for Assel. Across to Franklin. Righty shot. Saved by Metcalf. Franklin gets the rebound as he'll skate back towards the far boards. Now he gets up top for Kanadi. Back to Franklin, the left side. Over to Kanadi, the left shot defenseman. As he'll get towards the right circle for McBride. Back to Heiskanen. He'll take a righty shot and it goes just wide. As rebound goes out towards the left point. Now Heiskanen gets it back high slot. As he'll skate towards the right side and switches places with McBride. Heiskanen looked to center it. Bounced off of Underwood as Underwood pushes Heiskanen along the wall. As Cade Jensen hits a stanchion on a pass. He was trying to clear it out. Cutler gets it. He'll carry it out towards center ice. And he'll dump it in as the Grizzlies get 4 fresh skaters on the ice. And it looks like the Steelheads will also make a change. 1:10 left in Idaho's first power play of the game. 4.5 minutes left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho deep in their own end, setting up the attack. Idaho skating from left to right. Near side pass goes to neutral ice. Idaho crosses center. Wade Murphy dumps in. Watch out for him on the power play. He was dangerous there last year. As Teixeira clears it out. Good job by Brian Yoon gathering the puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. As Idaho will have to go the length of the ice. As Seamus Donahue will drop it off as Ben Zloty skates in. He looks like an outstanding prospect for Idaho. Grizzlies poke it back to neutral ice. Murphy over towards Nearham as goes back to number 24, Donahue. He'll throw it ahead to Zloty as Idaho enters the zone. Becker throws it back to Zloty. He's in the left point. As Zloty surveys, 20 seconds left in the power play, gets over to Murphy, right side. Murphy challenged by Fitz, takes a righty shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to Fitz, and Dillon clears it out. Well, Murphy had a good look from the right side, but Metcalf made the stop. He's allowed a few rebounds so far, but Utah has really done a good job protecting their net and not letting Idaho get a second look. Idaho crosses center ice. Kanadi with great speed. Throws it towards Keller. Deflects off the stick of Kyle Mayhew and goes out of play. As looks like Cameron Cook will be out of the penalty box. Looks like he is now out of the box as he was exiting just as the puck was exiting play. 3:27 left in the first, no score. Idaho has outshot Utah 15-9. Utah Grizzlies hockey brought to you by Mountain Land Supply Company. At Mountain Land, they're committed to making customers' business better, progressive change, creating a remarkable experience, and enriching our community. That's Mountain Land Supply Company. Idaho wins the draw deep in the Grizzlies zone as they'll bounce off the end boards as Wesley gets bounced by Jade Miller. Now the puck goes out to neutral ice as Keller loses it. Brandon Cutler skates towards his left. He makes a move to his right. Over in the right point, Grizzlies in the attack zone. Over to Mayhew. He'll take a lefty shot. And he scores! Kyle Mayhew gives Utah a 1-0 lead as he just went top shelf over Caden Fulcher as Grizzlies get on the board first. And talk about Kyle Mayhew's entering his first full season as a pro as he high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench along with Brandon Cutler. Cutler's going to get an assist on the Mayhew goal. 3:07 left in the first. Everybody goes to high-five Garrett Metcalf, who's really done an outstanding job here in the first period. It's that forward line that's going to be dangerous for the Grizzlies. Cutler, Martell, and Raby with Mayhew and Jensen back of him at the blue line. So Mayhew gets the goal. He had 1 goal in the regular season towards the end, and he had 2 goals in 6 playoff games for the Grizzlies. Utah leads 1-0. 3:07 left in the first as Grizz won the faceoff. Underwood moves ahead towards Kyle Betts. It taps off his stick and rolls towards Fulcher on the far side. Fulcher gets at the goal line, and he'll move it ahead as Idaho loses it. As Jared Power feeds over to Betts. Back towards Gallant. Gallant with a righty shot, and it's blocked by Nardella as Idaho throws out to center ice. Daniel Hardy couldn't reach it. Hardy trying to gather it. Jensen pokes it away. Now Nardella skates towards the near side, looks to center it, and a good job by Underwood, who throws it back to the near corner. As Idaho feeds out towards the near boards, taken by Power deep in the Grizzly zone over to Betts. Across to Jensen, who gathers it off the far wall. Jensen throws to neutral ice. Idaho intercepts it. They skate back in as we get a whistle. And it looks like it's going to be offside on Idaho as there's 2:24 left in the first. It's interesting. We're talking about before the game, as I guess they have never had a fight here at Mountain America Center. Who knows? Maybe they'll have one here tonight. First of two preseason games. They'll also meet tomorrow night at Idaho Central Arena in Boise. Tonight, I wouldn't say it's just for fun, but really, I'm just trying to get a little bit of the rust out of the way. As Penner will take the draws, it's in the Idaho zone. 2:24 left in the first. Utah leads 1-0 as Kyle Mayhew scored. As Grizzlies gather it, right point, Brian Yoon, righty shot goes wide. Teixeira gets hit by Franklin, who's a physical player. Teixeira keeps his feet, throws up top for Messner, takes a lefty shot, and it's blocked out in front, about 5 feet in front of Colt Fulcher. Grizzlies fire a right wing shot that's blocked by Fulcher. Fitz gets a rebound. He'll throw it to Yoon on the right side, up top for Teixeira. High slot. He'll take a lefty shot, and it goes just wide as it ricochets off the boards, and Fulcher kicks it towards the near wall. So Idaho gathers it. Franklin loses it at center ice. Teixeira dumps it in. Penner chases after it. He gets cut off by Cooper Jones. As Penner with a big-time hit on Donahue behind Idaho's net. As Cam Cook will skate towards his right. Cook has the only penalty of the game. He'll throw it towards the far side. It's picked off by Idaho. From left to right, Idaho grows as they cross center ice. Mark Rassel dumps it in. As Kay Jensen, one of three assistant captains tonight, over to Yakura. Now to Dylan Stewart, right side. He crosses center and dumps it in. As Cook collides with Nick Canati along the end wall deep in the Steelhead zone. Idaho in the near corner gathers it as Ben Zalati collides with the Grizzly, but the Grizzly got more of the glass than Zalati. As Idaho carries it across the offensive blue line and gets held up by Wesley, who's going to be physical. He's 6'3" and about 200 pounds. Idaho enters from the far side, but loses the puck as Kyle Mayhew, the goal scorer, over to Cam Cook, who lifts it high into the air as the puck bounces deep in the Steelhead zone. No icing as we've got under a minute left in the first period. Utah leads 1-0. Underwood at center ice as it's taken away by Miller. Miller skates towards the left circle, take a lefty shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Miller got hit by Jensen as he was delivering the shot. Jade Miller had a pretty good year for Idaho last season. In 68 games, he had 16 goals and 17 assists and a plus 28 rating. Well, it looks like a good first period for Kay Jensen, a guy really throwing his body around. Jensen played at Mount Royal University, where he mentioned before he was a teammate with Jared Power. Last year for Mount Royal in 23 games, he had 1 goal and 4 assists. Draws in the Grizzlies' own far side. Cutler will take it against Miller, and it goes towards the far boards. Grizzlies gather it as Cutler throws it between the legs of Underwood. Now, Kay Jensen, right side, lifts the puck. It goes to center ice. Grizzlies get it 2-on-2. Martell centers it to Cutler. Cutler fumbled it as it rolls off the end boards. Cutler gets it back. Less than half a minute left in the first period as Cutler throws it across, and getting it off the wall is Jensen. And so get to Martell. Martell avoids a check as they'll throw it off the end boards. Martell to Cutler, throws it behind his back for Raby. Lefty shot. Saved by Fulcher, is on his backside. And Fulcher covers up. But what a pass by Brandon Cutler, who was at the near goal line. Fed it behind his back for a cutting Raby, who was down the right side. And Raby had a pretty good look. Well, could have made it 2-0. But we mentioned it before. That forward line is going to be dangerous this season, especially since those three guys really complement each other well. Looks like a good passing team the Grizzlies have so far, and it looks like the passing has gotten better as camps progressed. You talk about the depth, 3 or 4 forward lines. The Grizzlies look like they've got that so far here in training camp. 14 seconds left in the first period. Utah leads 1-0. Idaho leads the shot count 16-12. Kyle Betts will take the draw. He wins it, goes to Yoon. Yoon keeps it in left side after bobbling it for a second. As the puck goes to Messner, he gets pushed by Donahue. As Sean McBride skates around Idaho's net, as he'll tap it off the near glass, goes over the head of Teixeira. As the puck on its side rolls deep in the Grizzly zone, and the horn sounds, and time has run out here in the first period. Grizzlies scored with 3:07 left in the frame. As Kyle Mayhew scored, I think Brandon Cutler got an assist. It might be an assist to somebody else as well. But really a good first 20 minutes for the Grizzlies. They allowed 16 shots, but none found the back of the net. Metcalf allowed a couple rebounds, but really did a good job. Jade Miller had a good look there in the final minute of the period, and Metcalf was able to gather it. A couple other good looks. Idaho had some looks on the power play, Heiskanen in particular, but Metcalf looked strong. As Grizzlies goaltending unit looks like it's going to be a strength once again this season. Both teams head off the ice. Ryan Kanaswich and Christian Horn walk together. I think Christian Horn's going to be a good assistant coach. I had a chance to talk with him on Tuesday. And you can catch the interview as well as the entire show on the Grizzlies Talk Show on my SoundCloud page. And it was certainly interesting to talk with him. I had about a 9-minute conversation, and he looks like he's going to be a bright young coach, only about 30 years old, and Christian Horn will be the assistant coach. The equipment manager this year is Jackson Hibbard, who replaces Mason Wayland, who was the head equipment manager for the last 2 years. And the athletic trainer for the Grizzlies in his fourth season is Colin Lee. Well, both teams are off the ice. When we come back in 1 minute, we will break down the first period, what we noticed from the Grizzlies defensive unit, and we'll break down that D-man unit, which looks to be a strength for the Grizzlies this season. We'll also talk about Idaho's defensive unit as well. They're missing a couple key defensemen in Matt Register and Patrick Kudla. But Idaho had some good looks. I mean, Ben Zalati looks like he's going to be an outstanding player. He's got that size-speed ratio, 6 feet, 187 pounds. Looks like he can just cut on a dime. And it looks like he's got a pretty good shot as well. Zalati really racked up the assists in the WHL over the last 3 seasons. We'll break down the defensive units when we come back. Once again, the score after 20 minutes is the Grizzlies 1 and the Steelheads nothing. This is the Grizzlies Audio Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
First intermission here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. As the Grizzlies lead 1-0 as Kyle Mayhew scored with 3:07 left in the frame. Mayhew, M-A-Y-H-E-W, is going to have an outstanding year for the Grizzlies. He's got an AHL two-way deal with the Colorado Eagles last season. In 6 playoff games, he had 2 goals and 1 assist and a +4 rating. And even though he's not a very big guy, listed about 5'8" and 165 pounds, he's lightning quick. He makes great decisions with the puck. And he can score from just about anywhere on the ice. He's got great hands, and he looks like he's going to be an outstanding player. And he comes from a winning program, as he played at the University of Denver, who won a national championship in 2022. He was a teammate with Cameron Wright, who's now playing for the Fort Wayne Comets. He was in AHL camp with the Bakersfield Condors. Wright led the Grizzlies with 30 goals last season, also led the team in points. And Cameron Wright's going to be one that's going to be missed because he did have 9 game-winning goals. He had 30 goals, and a lot of them were big for the Grizzlies. So he'll be playing for the Fort Wayne Comets. Interestingly enough, the Grizzlies have a 3-game set in Fort Wayne in mid-December. So we could end up seeing Cameron Wright play against the Grizzlies 2 months from now. Remember, it's the first of 2 preseason games here in Idaho. First here in Idaho Falls, and then tomorrow the scene shifts to Idaho Central Arena in Boise. Now, the Grizzlies haven't had a whole lot of success in the preseason over the last 6 or 7 years. It looks like first 20 minutes of play here have been pretty good, as Grizzlies had 12 shots, Idaho 16. Not sure if they got stats on this game on the ECHL app or not, but it looks like the Grizzlies are off to a pretty good start. Idaho is resting a decent amount of regulars, as A.J. White's out of the lineup, Matt Register. I mentioned Register a little bit. We'll talk about the defensive units for both clubs here in a couple minutes, but Register actually played in 3-ice this past season, that 3-on-3 hockey league, which actually features a lot of ECHL players, if not exclusively guys who have played in the ECHL. Matt Register was actually the defenseman of the year, as he played for the Larry Murphy team, as the team names are NHL legends, and those legends coach those 3-on-3 teams. And Register's club ended up winning the championship, and he was the defenseman of the year. It's actually kind of fun to watch because there were a lot of guys that played against the Grizzlies over the last handful of years. I know John Schiavo of the Kansas City Mavericks the last few years. He was playing in that league. Actually, the Allen American head coach, Chad Costello, who's entering his 2nd season in Allen, he actually played in that league. I think Hank Crone was on a team who's, maybe the league MVP. I think it was Hank Crone that was of the Allen Americans last year, and I think he's going to be playing with Allen again this season. It's going to be a tough Mountain Division, and the Grizzlies and Steelheads have won the division title each of the last 2 years. The Grizzlies 2 seasons ago in the 2021-22 campaign, they won the division, and Idaho missed the playoffs by a game. Steelheads really improved their road record last season, and they broke a lot of league records. They won the division last year. It'll be interesting to really see how the regular season plays because Idaho's got some new goaltenders, and who knows? With the Grizzlies, especially the way they looked in the first period. Now, we're just talking preseason. But we mentioned that strong forward line, and really the unit that I think can end up making the most improvement is on the defensive line. And when we come back in 30 seconds, we'll break down the Grizzlies' defensive unit. We'll talk about guys like Keone Teixeira, Brian Hume, and in particular Josh Wesley, who looks like he is going to be a sturdy defenseman for the Grizzlies, assuming he ends up playing the majority of the year in Utah, as he has previous ECHL experience with Maine, Tulsa, and Florida. He spent most of his time in the ECHL with Florida. He's also got 167 games of AHL experience. We'll talk about Josh Wesley and the other Grizzlies defensemen. And we'll also break down Idaho's blue line unit. Looked like Nick Canadi had an outstanding first period. Cody Haskinen as well. And Demetrius Kumatsis, wearing number 23, the Arizona State product. He'll be playing his first full season as a pro this upcoming campaign. We're back in 30 seconds after this word from Rio Tinto.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm. And our lights on. It's the power behind the team. And a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
We're at the beautiful brand spanking new. Hey, I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't had a hockey game since early May. Grizzlies taking on the Idaho Steelheads tonight. First intermission, Utah leads 1-0 as Kyle Mayhew scored with 3:07 left in the first period. We mentioned the defensive units on both clubs. We'll talk about the forwards exclusively in the second intermission. I think I was more intrigued to see the defensemen for the Grizzlies than any other unit. I mean, you talk about a group that only returns Kyle Mayhew, who played a handful of regular season games. He played in college last year and then really stood out in the postseason. Some of the other returning defensemen for the Grizzlies are not in there tonight. Jacob Semick, Jordan Stone, Corey Thomas, each out of the Grizzlies lineup. So there's a lot of new faces. But when you look at standouts, you only mentioned Josh Wesley. He's really got that good size-speed ratio. And from what I saw here in the first period, he plays a really patient game. He's one of those guys. Doesn't look like he's in a hurry. He's willing to hold on to the puck for that extra half second, that extra second, and make. He looks like he makes good decisions. He does come from a hockey family, and I'm pretty sure he's tired of hearing about it. And it seems like every hockey game Josh Wesley ever plays, and he's probably the son of Glenn Wesley, is what gets mentioned most. Glenn Wesley actually had a 20-year NHL career, and kind of to show you how the career went. In 1989, at a young age, he was an all-star with the Boston Bruins. And then 17 years later, I mean, they tell you not to do math on the air, but 17 years later in 2006, he won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes. So his uncle Blake Wesley also played in the NHL 7 seasons in the 1980s. He's got a pretty long resume. The last season he played in the States was with the Springfield Thunderbirds of the AHL, where he appeared in 65 games and had 5 goals and 7 assists. Last year, he played in the Czech Republic for Litvinov, and 34 games, had 2 goals and 1 assist. He's got AHL experience with Charlotte, Hartford, San Antonio, Utica, and 2 years ago with Springfield. He's only 27 years old. He's got a lot of good hockey left in him. A former 4th-round pick by the Carolina Hurricanes back in 2014. Hard to say how much he'll play with the Grizzlies and how much he'll play with the Eagles. I do know one thing. The Eagles look like they've got a pretty deep defensive unit this season. As a result, the Grizzlies are probably going to be pretty deep on the blue line as well. We've seen that in previous years. And really, when you think about the secret sauce as to why the Grizzlies won the division 2 years ago, it was that defensive pairing of Dastu and Luke Martin. Connor McDonald had an outstanding year that year as well. And the Grizzlies really, both forwards and the defensive unit, had pretty good production from their third line. So I think the Grizzlies, obviously the roster we're going to see in March and April isn't necessarily the one we're going to see here at the start of the season. But it looks like the Grizzlies have quite a bit of depth, maybe even a little bit more depth than what they had at the start of last season. We mentioned Wesley, but another defenseman that I was curious to see tonight is Brian Yoon, who was the captain at Colorado College last season. And, he played 5 years at Colorado College. Before that, played in the USHL with the Tri-City Storm. Looks like he racked up quite a bit of assists with the Storm in the USHL. I've always learned with defensemen, when it comes to colleges, the stats really don't tell much of a story, because a lot of defensemen really don't have great stats in college. It might just be the role that they play. Yoon's an outstanding skater, 5'11", 175 pounds. Looks like he's got pretty good hands, and it seems like he doesn't necessarily need to be out in front of the net to score. He fired a shot from the right side that looked like it had some steam on it, and he looks like a pretty smart player as well. I'm curious the rest of the game and really the rest of the weekend to kind of see how Brian Yoon performs, because I got a feeling he's going to be one of those players, the more you see, the more you like. With Brian Yoon, he looked good in the first period. I liked what I saw from Michael Underwood, the Michigan State product, who played in 38 games at Michigan State last year as a graduate transfer. Before that was really a solid defenseman for Clarkson University. And it seems like Clarkson University is a pretty good hockey program, because we've seen a lot of guys end up playing with the Grizzlies that went to Clarkson, Zach Sekos being a notable name, Josh Dickinson before that. And you've also seen guys play against the Grizzlies, from Clarkson. So he looks like he's well coached in a good college program. It's kind of funny when you look at the bios of defensemen, they always mention block shots when you go to the college websites. And he had 212 career block shots at Clarkson University and a combined plus 23 rating in 4 seasons at Clarkson. Underwood's got decent size, 6'1", 198 pounds, 25 years old. Looks like he hasn't shaved a day in his life, as he's kind of got a youthful look to him. And he's another defenseman I think is just going to be solid for the Grizzlies all season long. As we mentioned before, it's not like stats really tell the whole story in terms of how a college player can perform at a pro level. But it looks like Underwood's going to be a solid one. He came over from the AHL. He was actually in AHL camp with the Colorado Eagles. Keone Teixeira is a guy that I think fans that follow the ECHL on a regular basis, they've gotten to know him pretty well. It's his 6th season in the ECHL. He actually faced the Grizzlies quite a while ago. It was probably about 5 years ago in his rookie campaign with the Wichita Thunder in the 2018-2019 season. He had a solid year with Wichita. In 70 games, he had 7 goals and 39 assists. And if I remember right, he was Wichita's best defenseman that year. The last 4 years, he was with the Indy Fuel. Last season with Indy, he led the club in plus-minus with a plus 19 rating. He was their captain 2 years ago in the 2021-22 season, where he was a plus 18 in 63 games, 5 goals and 26 assists. He actually played in 4 games in the AHL with San Jose, and last year played in 1 game in the AHL with the Colorado Eagles. He played with the Portland Winterhawks for 4 seasons from 2013 through 2018. I think he was a teammate at one point with Mason Manick, the Harriman native who played with the Grizzlies 2 years ago. I don't think he was a teammate with Dante Giannuzzi. I think those two just missed each other, as Giannuzzi, the backup goaltender tonight, spent the last 5 seasons in the WHL. Those two weren't teammates, but they did play with the same WHL team. The one thing that stands out with Teixeira is just pure strength. It's one of those, he might be the strongest player on the Grizzlies team, at least physically looking strong. Got a lot of experience in this league, and it just seems like he's a defenseman that knows how to play. He's not going to make mistakes out there. He's going to make the right decisions. And if you need somebody to be strong and sturdy on the blue line or to be strong and sturdy out in front of the net, Keone Teixeira is your guy. One of the things that really stood out to me in the first period that I think the defensive unit did a good job of is they did a good job of boxing out Idaho and not letting them get out in front. Because Metcalf did allow a few rebounds, maybe 2 or 3 rebounds there in the first period. And the Grizzlies defensive unit really did a good job of controlling those rebounds and gathering him or, kind of slightly sliding it back to Metcalf so he can cover up. It's those little things that I thought made James Shearer and Connor McDonald outstanding defensemen. The Grizzlies are really going to miss that pairing this season. But I think with guys like Teixeira, Cade Jensen, who we haven't mentioned yet, Jensen's a strong, sturdy defenseman. And I really liked what I saw from him. He played the last 4 years at Mount Royal University. He was actually a teammate for 2 seasons with Jared Powers wearing number 19 tonight, which is really throwing me off because I don't think Power wore number 19 last year. I think he was number 20. And so it's like 19's out there. I'm thinking, okay, is that Jordan Stone? Is it somebody else? I haven't quite computed. Yeah, I haven't quite put in my mind that that's Jared Power out there working with Mick Messner and Kyle Betts tonight. Jensen, the big thing is size. And I like that I saw a couple of hits that Jensen made in the first period. He made one hit as Jade Miller was taking a shot from the left circle late in the first period. That's going to be Cade Jensen's game. If he's going to make it as a pro, it's going to be his physical play. And the Grizzlies, as we mentioned before, have gotten a little bit bigger on the blue line. And really, in particular, that's to combat teams like Idaho and Allen because the Mountain Division seems to be a lot more physical than it is out east. And so I think the Grizzlies, with the size that they've added, have really beefed up the blue line to the point where I think that they can compete at maybe a higher level than in previous years against teams like Idaho and Allen. Last year, Idaho was one of the biggest teams in the league. You just looked at guys like Willie Niram and Jack Becker. And this year, it looks like the Steelheads are going to be a pretty big unit as well. So I think if you're the Grizzlies, you have to like the way you performed in the first period. And I got a feeling as the weekend progresses, I'm curious to see just how physical the Grizzlies' blue line plays because I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think that's why I was so excited to see the Grizzlies' defensive unit here tonight in action, in a game situation against a strong Idaho team to see how they perform defensively. And so far, even though 16 shots are on the board for Idaho, Grizzlies really stood strong on the blue line here in the first frame. First intermission, Utah leads 1-0 as Kyle Mayhew scored with 3:07 left in the first period. Cutler got an assist. I'm not sure stats are being kept tonight. Not sure who got the other assist on that one. Raby and Martell were on the ice as well, and I think Josh Wesley. As those guys will all get pluses for the Grizzlies in the first period. We'll see what the second frame looks like. Let's quickly go over the Idaho defensive unit. The Grizzlies are going to face Idaho 14 times this season, and the division title will go through Boise just as it did last year. And I think that, if the Grizzlies want to win the division, they're going to have to find a way to play even, win 7 against Idaho, things like that, and, contend with other teams like Allen. Nick Canati was impressive last year in the preseason. He looks impressive again tonight wearing number 3. He's not very big at 5'9" and 165 pounds, but he looks like a defenseman that is going to keep his roster spot this season. Kumatsis, 5'11", 190, wearing number 23. We saw him make an impact, and it seems like Seamus Donahue, he was an active defenseman, number 24 for Idaho. Idaho is probably without their 2 best defensemen tonight in Matt Register and Patrick Kubla. But Cody Heiskanen, is an elite defenseman, and he, in particular, looked like he was quarterbacking that power play for Idaho. And he's an offensive threat. He's somebody that had a big-time plus-minus rating for the Steelheads last year, and he's got the size at 6'4", 205 pounds. His brother's in the NHL, and Cody Heiskanen hoping to make a mark this season. He's got an ECHL contract now. He's kind of an AHL-level player. But the guy that I thought really stood out was Ben Zalotti. I went on a YouTube. I went and looked up a YouTube video because I didn't run into Cam McGuire, the Idaho broadcaster, before the game, and tried to figure out how to say his name. The broadcaster calling Zalotti's game called him Zalotti, so that's what we're going to go with tonight, unless I hear otherwise. He racked up a ton of assists in the WHL with Winnipeg, and he's currently on an AHL deal with the Texas Stars. Zalotti just looks like he's explosively quick, and it looks like he's got an outstanding shot that he can score probably a handful of goals from the blue line this season with. So watch out for Ben Zalotti. He's somebody through the next 2 periods that I'm curious to see for Idaho because he can end up being one of those top 4 defensemen on the Steelheads, and they were probably the best defensive unit in the league last year, and it looks like, especially if Register is healthy this year and Kubla and Haskin, it looks like it's going to be a strong unit again this year. Idaho's taking the ice, and so too the Grizzlies here to start the second period. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have second period action as Utah leads 1-0 on the Grizzlies Audio Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
We're about set to start second period action here from Hero Arena at Mountain America Center, home of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. As Grizzlies will skate from left to right here in the second period. I'm over in the what we'd call it the right corner, as action over in the Grizzlies zone for the second period, which was the Steelhead zone in the first period, was pretty tough. There were a couple moments there when the action was in the corner. It was tough to tell where the puck was, so bear with me. That and about 5 months worth of rust that we're trying to knock off here this weekend before the regular campaign. Grizzlies 5-man unit in the huddle right now at the Utah blue line talking things over. Idaho's going to start with, I believe, the same 5-man unit that started the game, which is Nick Canadi and Cody Haskinen back of the blue line. Spanenbergs will take the face-off. Willie Nerum and Wade Murphy are the forwards for the Grizzlies. Brandon Cutler will take the draw. He's got Martell to his right and Raby to his left. Up top is Josh Wesley and Kyle Mayhew. Draw goes between the Grizzlies defensemen, glides towards Metcalf, who gets to Wesley, and we've begun play here in the second period. As Jensen ahead to Raby, right side, drops off for Martell, right circle, righty shot. Saved by Fulcher. Caden's his first name, new goalie with the Steelheads. As Idaho gets to Grizzlies territory, left wing pass to Spanenbergs, wearing number 72. He's being shadowed by Wesley. Puck goes up top for Haskinen, right point. He tried to get it over towards Murphy, and it deflects off the stick of Dakota Raby. Now wraparound shot, saved by Metcalf. As looked like Willie Nerum skated around Utah's net and tried to sneak it over the right ankle of Metcalf, but Garrett makes his 17th save of the game as we get a whistle 31 seconds into the second period. Both teams make a line change as Kyle Betts enters with Jared Power and Mick Messner. Taking the draw for Idaho is Jack Becker, who scored the game winner in Game 6 of the playoff series to eliminate the Grizzlies. As Utah wins the draw, Underwood will throw it back to the far side as he's paired up as Grizzlies get it. Cade Jensen and Underwood. As Jensen crosses center ice, he'll roll it around the wall. Fulcher cuts it off behind his net. Outlet pass to Mark Rassel, number 92. Rassel played with Fort Wayne last year over to Franklin. Now across Zalati. Looked to get it to Rassel. He couldn't locate the puck. Grizzlies get it back. As Underwood throws to center ice for Betts. And he'll get it over to Gallant. He'll ski towards the right circle. Righty shot. Saved by Fulcher. Rebound Donahue. Moves it ahead as Becker slides to Rassel across the center ice. Left wing. He'll feed it across to Zalati as action now in the Grizzlies zone. As Idaho throws it towards Becker. Right wing. One-timer goes wide. Now centering pass out in front to Becker, who couldn't connect. Puck lines towards the near boards as Idaho loses it center ice. As Betts dumps it in, Grizzlies make a line change. 1.5 minutes into the second period, Utah leads 1-0 on Kyle Mayhew's goal with about 3 minutes left in the first. Outlet pass to Rassel, far side as action in the Grizzlies zone. Grizzlies get it. Fitz moves ahead, Grizz cross center, skating down the middle and feeding over towards Messner is Mayhew. Mayhew gets it back in the near corner, skates towards the right circle, across to Wesley. Wesley left side, fires a shot that goes wide as he was looking for the low liner with Penner out in front as the puck glides back to neutral ice. Mayhew gets to Penner, the Iron Man, over towards Fitz along the far wing boards. He'll dump it in as along the end wall. Penner slides it out towards the near side, glances off the skate. Now goes to Wesley, right side, shot, saved by Fulcher. Boy, Wesley gets a lot of velocity on a shot, even when it looks like he doesn't put much on it. Colton Keller ices the puck as the arm is raised by the linesman, and the draw is going to come back towards Caden Fulcher, the Idaho goaltender, with 17:48 left in the second. There's a lot of power on that Josh Wesley shot. It just doesn't seem like he's putting much into it, and it gets to the goaltender in a hurry. Even if he doesn't score a goal in that shot, there's going to be a lot of rebound opportunities when he takes them, because I think the goaltender is going to be a little bit surprised at how much is on the shot. Dean Ukura, the 38-year-old who played with Greenville and Norfolk in the ECHL last year, 38-year-old will take the draw, but Jade Miller wins it for Idaho. Cooper Jones around his net, moves it ahead, and Keller trying to extend his stick. He got a piece of it, but couldn't corral the puck as the Grizzlies, deep in their own zone, will start the attack as Underwood, number 54. He started training camp as number 24. He'll slide across. Grizzlies get it to center ice. Dylan Stewart crosses center and dumps it around the wall as it goes towards Cameron Cook. He'll try to look to start to Stewart. It taps off the stick of Canadi. Underwood as the lights start flickering back and forth. Now the lights go off as we've stopped play. Some of them found the light switch and decided to flicker it back and forth. Well, it's a shame because it looked like the Grizzlies had something rolling offensively. Play is stopped as the lights just started going nuts here at Mountain America Center. Draw's going to be in the Idaho zone. I guess a 6-year-old probably saw the light switch and just started having some fun there. Yakura will take the draw. He's got Cam Cook to his left and Dylan Stewart to his right. Stewart spent the past 5 seasons at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. He had 29 points in 24 games last season for them. 10 goals and 19 assists. Good size at 6'1" and 209 pounds. Looks like he could be a power forward for the Grizzlies that can play a strong inside game. Yakura will take the draw, sporting a beard. Nick Nardella takes the draw for Idaho. Steelheads win the faceoff as Heiskanen around his net gets the puck. He's on the far side as he'll skate around Yakura. Now he gets to center ice, gets around Underwood, but Underwood pokes the puck away as Heiskanen gets it back in a one-on-one battle with Underwood. Puck behind Utah's net. Grizzlies scored it over to the corner as Donahue throws it up top for Nardella. He's on the left side. He'll skate towards his right. Righty shot. Oh, got redirected and hits the pipe. And the iron unkind as play continues. Nardella to the right side. Gets up top for Heiskanen. Heiskanen right side skates towards the circle. Righty shot is blocked. Goes back to Nardella, who gets to Heiskanen, who tries to keep it in but doesn't. Idaho resets. It's back in their own zone. Donahue with a rink-wide pass. It glanced off the stick of Cook as Idaho now back deep in their own zone. As Donahue chases after it. One-on-one battle with Cutler. As Donahue gets around Cutler and throws to Heiskanen on the far side. As the Steelhead skate from right to left. As pass up ahead, it goes to center ice. Martell cuts off the Steelhead, and Brian Yoon gets it at the Utah blue line. Ahead to Martell, right side. He'll skate towards the circle. Now to Cutler. Drops it back off for Martell, but he was skating the other way. Idaho gathers it as Willie Nerum with good size crosses center ice down the middle. Left wing feed to Nardella, who's played a good game. He gets blasted by Teixeira over in the corner. Puck squirts towards Metcalf, who covers up as we get a whistle with 16:01 left in the second. 19 shots for Idaho to the Grizzlies 15. The only goal scored so far is Kyle Mayhew with 3:07 left in the first. We think Cutler got an assist. I'm not entirely sure who had that second assist, though. As Draw's going to be in the near circle. Svanenbergs will take it for Idaho. 6'3", 190 pounds. In 45 games last year, he had 13 goals and 9 assists and a +11 rating. That's over in the other corner, so I can't quite tell who that is for Utah. I think it's Cutler. It was actually Martell, I think. I need binoculars just to be over here. As Grizzlies win the draw, they'll throw it to the far side. Grizzlies move it ahead. Raby chases after it. And the arm is raised by Fulcher, and the linesmen agree. Icing on the Grizzlies as we'll skate back towards Garrett Metcalf with 15:50 left in the second. Grizzlies goaltenders, as we speak, are Metcalf, and the backup tonight, Dante Giannuzzi, who we'll probably see tomorrow. Probably there's going to be a third goaltender. We're not sure who it is. Is Trent Miner, the Grizzlies' all-time shutout king. Looks like he's having a pretty good training camp with Colorado, and we're certainly rooting for Trent to, who's in the last year of a 3-year NHL entry-level deal. As Idaho wins the face-off, but it exits his zone. Nick Canadi skates towards his left, and he'll chip it in off the near glass. Puck glides towards Metcalf behind the net. As over to Willie Nerum, who gets it poked away by Raby. Now Yoon gets it. He's got good speed, and he's an outstanding skater. He gets hit and divorced from the puck as Idaho throws to Zalati. Back towards Canadi. One-timer, and it's glanced off of Raby and goes wide. Idaho still with the puck as Murphy throws to Zalati. Left point, Zalati skates towards the left circle wearing number 44. Lefty shot, saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. He's done a good job here in the couple shots Idaho's taken of controlling those rebounds and not giving Idaho a second look. That's the playmaking ability of Ben Zalati. He really didn't have anything going in the left point, just kind of glided towards the circle, made a nice move. It looks like he really kind of skates from side to side perfectly and was able to find a scoring chance. Kind of Charles-Edouard Dastu-esque in that department. Looks like Zalati's going to be an outstanding pro. He's on an AHL contract with Texas. As draw one by the Grizzlies, Josh Wesley will move it ahead as Gallant feeds to Betts. Betts with good speed, skates towards the right circle. Now down the middle, take a lefty shot, and he scores! Kyle Betts gives the Grizzlies a 2-0 lead as the outlet pass by Josh Wesley connected, and Betts just skating down the right side, veered off to the left to get in the slot, and fired it past Caden Fulcher. Kyle Betts will get the goal. Josh Wesley with an assist. Kyle Mayhew out there as well with Cole Gallant. The assist might go to Gallant and Wesley as Kyle Betts showing outstanding playmaking ability. He's got that good size speed ratio, and I think spending last year in the AHL with Belleville really helped him, where he appeared in 40 games with the Senators. 2-0 Utah. The Kyles, Mayhew and Betts with the goals. As Idaho wins the faceoff, Donahue left side, tries to dump it in. He gets challenged by Gallant. Now Rassel gets it as he'll dump it in as it's deep in the Grizzly zone near side. Wesley moves ahead to Gallant, who's got good speed. He'll get to Betts, who scored a goal here in the second period. Across to Messner, who gets cut off from Cooper Jones, and the puck taken by Donahue. Same as Donahue. We'll throw it back to Cooper Jones on a tryout deal. He'll throw it to Franklin at center ice. Puck glances off of Franklin's stick and glides towards the Grizzlies' far corner. Mayhew throws it across to Wesley. Oh, he's got an outstanding stride. Wesley with a long stride. Skates towards the zone. He's now in the corner. He skates around the net. Oh, he gets poked away by Heiskanen as Penner battles Messner. Back to Penner. Fitz glides along the wall as Grizzlies throw it back to Fitz behind Idaho's net. He'll let it go as Messner chases after it the near side. Mick Messner, who played at Mary Mac, skates towards his left. He'll take a lefty shot on and hits the pipe, and Fulcher covers up. Boy, crafty shot by Messner. I don't think Fulcher saw it. It hit the post and just kind of settled at Fulcher's ankle, and he was able to cover up with 14:08 left in the second. Boy, the Grizzlies are buzzing here in the middle frame as Kyle Betts scored, and it looked like Mick Messner had a good look there that could have made it 3-0. As we stand, it's 2-0 Utah, 14:08 left in the second. Idaho's outshot Utah 20-17. Jade Miller takes the face-off and wins against Tyler Penner. Is the only forward wearing an A on his sweater. Nobody's got the captaincy yet. As Penner centers it towards Messner, but he couldn't locate it. Puck goes back over to Idaho. As they move it ahead, as they chip it off the boards, does Sean McBride, who's been active tonight, number 19, second stint with the Steelheads. As Penner towards the right side gets poked away by Zalotti. Now right wing, Fitz will tap it off the glass, high off the glass, as Heiskanen gets it back behind Idaho's net. He'll throw it to the near side for Zalotti. Steelhead skating from right to left. Pass connects. Jade Miller skates down the right side, backhand shot. Saved by Metcalf. Great pass by Zalotti. Miller almost connected there, but Metcalf's been on point tonight. As the Steelhead's trying to center it out in front, it goes wide. Donahue, left wing, lefty shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on with 13:23 left in the second. It's the 22nd shot by the Steelheads here tonight, and Metcalf is perfect. The Salt Lake City native has had 3 solid seasons with the Grizzlies. Metcalf in 34 games with Utah over the last 3 years has a record of 15, 11, and 2 with a .904 save percentage and 3.09 goals against average. The difference this year, though, is he's on an AHL contract with the Colorado Eagles. Previously, he was on an ECHL contract, so as a result, he might get some more playing time this year. Nick Nardella, the 5'10", 174-pound forward for the Steelheads, takes the draw. He played at Michigan Tech last year and a little bit of time with Cincinnati and Iowa in the ECHL. Grizzlies win the draw as they'll throw it towards Dylan Stewart. He moves ahead. Now goes to Nick Canati, who keeps it in. Left point, he'll fire it off the right corner. As Idaho looks to center it, Yoon picks it off. Collision over on the right side. Cook goes down as Canati skates towards the left circle. Lefty shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. That was a good look there by Canati, who was all alone in the left circle. And there was about 4 or 5 bodies out in front of the net. One, I don't know how Metcalf saw it. And 2, even if he did see it, I don't know how he made that save. And it didn't allow a rebound. That's the one thing we saw in the first period. He did allow 2 or 3 second chances. That's not the case here in the second period, as Metcalf has really done a good job controlling the rebounds. After the whistle, some nouns, verbs, and adjectives were used by both teams, but it doesn't look like a penalty either way. We've only had 1 penalty in the game. Cameron Cook late in the first period. Got a 2-minute penalty for slashing. Grizzlies successful on the penalty kill. It's been a pretty clean game so far. Drow's over on that far side once again. I'm not lying, even though I'm wearing glasses. These glasses might not work. I might need binoculars for tomorrow. Josh Wesley's out there. Taking the draw for Idaho is Nick Nardella. As draw won by Idaho. They're in the attack zone as Aaron Aragon will roll it around the boards. Aragon wearing number 28, played with Macon and Knoxville in the SBHL last year. Grizzlies gather it as Mayhew skates behind Metcalf's net and stays there. Mayhew will throw it towards the far side. Grizzlies get it out to center, picked off by Donahue. As the Steelheads re-enter the zone from the right side, they'll roll it around the boards. Metcalf cuts it off, wearing number 39. Grizzlies get an outlet pass to Raby, glance off his stick, and he collides with Cooper Jones, who cuts him off. As Svanenbergs feeds it to neutralize, puck lifts high into the air, it returns to the Steelhead zone. Svanenbergs will carry it back as he'll throw it to Aragon left side. Aragon looks to center it, bouncing puck. Svanenbergs couldn't gather it on the right side. It's taken by Raby, who skates around Murphy. Murphy took the puck away from him. Raby gets it back. Poke check towards the slot, goes to Utah. Martell throws it across to Raby, but it was about chest high, and he couldn't reach it. As Grizzlies enter the zone, Mayhew gets spun around by Heiskanen. Idaho attacks. Murphy skates towards the right circle. Murphy looks to center it. Shot! And Idaho didn't get much on it. Was near him. Svanenbergs with a backhand shot that goes wide. Right side. Idaho centers it, and it bounces off of Mayhew and goes to the Rooster. Jordan Martell, 18 goals with the Grizzlies last year. He's about a point a game. He'll feed it to center ice for Raby. Back towards Utah. Brandon Cutler gets hit by Heiskanen dangerously. Cutler goes down. Raby trying to defend his teammate as Donahue pushed Cutler. Cutler back to his feet. As now going down is Franklin. We got a fight! Dakota Raby and Seamus Donahue. Donahue doesn't want to drop his gloves. Cutler and Donahue. Cutler got hurt. Looks like he's holding his arm as he got pushed awkwardly along the boards by Seamus Donahue. And then Cutler dropped his gloves. Donahue didn't. That gets the crowd fired up. Donahue yelling at Cutler. But it was one of those dangerous hits. And I was wondering if anybody was going to go after Donahue. Turned out once Cutler got back to his feet, because Donahue pushed him and just kind of stayed there. And once Cutler got back to his feet, he said, we're going to go. We'll see if there's a power play that comes out of it. It might be an Idaho power play, as Cutler looked like he had dropped his gloves and wanted to go, and Donahue didn't. Sounds like roughing. Donahue gets 2 minutes. I think Cutler's also going to get 2 minutes. But it might be that Donahue gets 2 extra minutes, a double minor for roughing. That would give the Grizzlies their first power play of the game, which during the preseason, you'd like to get some work on the power play. Grizzlies worked on it a bit yesterday. But I think Brandon Cutler would have been on that top power play unit. He's in the box right now. So let's see. We're playing a game of counting who's on the ice. It looks like there's 4 for the Grizzlies, 4 for the Steelheads. Both guys get matching roughing minors, and we're going to skate 4-on-4. Draws at neutral ice in Grizzlies territory. Utah leads 2-0. The Kyles, Mayhew, and Betts with Utah's goals. Idaho wins the draw as Lottie enters the zone and gets it taken away by Betts, as the Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the second period, leading 2-0. Utah behind Metcalf's net as they'll start the attack as Michael Underwood will feed it to the right side. Grizzlies enter the zone. Gallant with good speed. Centers it over. Lefty shot and a score! Cade Jensen has made it a 3-0 game. Boy, Cole Gallant with good speed skated to the right side, centered it to Jensen. And Cade Jensen, it's only a preseason game, but it is his first as a pro. As looks like they'll save the puck for him. As Utah leads 3-0, and all 3 goals scored by guys whose first names start with K. Kyle, and Cade. It's a 4-on-4 goal for the Grizzlies. Cutler and Donahue will stay in the box. We'll continue to skate 4-on-4. Grizzlies scored 5 goals in a 4-on-4 situation last year, and they allowed 6. So Cade Jensen gets the goal. Gallant's going to get an assist. As the draw won by Utah, but it rolls towards Metcalf along the near goal line. Metcalf cuts it off and gets it to Brian Yoon. Yoon wearing number 4, an outstanding skater. Will throw it to the near side for Keone Teixeira. Teixeira, 6th season as a pro, 6th season in this league. As he skates towards the far side, he gets it taken away. As Sean McBride will fire it off the near boards. As Cooper Jones over in the corner, being shadowed by a Grizzly. Jones goes down, scrum in the corner. Fitz pokes it away. He'll skate around Metcalf's net with a puck. As Fitz with a long-range pass. It goes past Jared Power. Power gets there first, no icing as he gets pushed by Heiskanen. Heiskanen takes the puck. He skates around Fulcher's net. Left wing pass to Miller. Jade Miller skates towards the left side. Good poke check by the Grizzlies and Josh Wesley. Miller gets it back right side. He'll skate towards his left. He's now in the slot. He dances around. He skates towards his right and drops off to the left point for Ben Zalotti. Zalotti gets around Fitz. Zalotti gets it poked away. Puck goes to the near side. Over the point, cut off by Idaho. As they'll take a righty shot, and Metcalf makes a save. That shot was taken by Colton Keller from the left side with a righty shot. And Metcalf is able to hold on, and once again, no rebounds allowed here in the second period. We're about halfway through the scheduled 60 minutes, and Utah leads 3-0. Kyle Mayhew scored 3:07 into with 3:07 left in the first period. Early in the second, Kyle Betts made it 2-0, and Cade Jensen made it 3-0 on a great centering pass from Cole Gallant. 41 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 24-18. Draws over on the near side. Miller takes it, but it's the Grizzlies and Tyler Penner that win the faceoff. Utah throws it towards the slot. Well out of his net is Fulcher to throw it towards the near boards. As Penner battles with Zalotti, skating in, hacking away is Messner. And looks like Fulcher's able to cover up. Boy, Mick Messner's looked pretty good here, skating with Power and Betts. Looks like that forward line's been pretty strong. The first period, we were talking about the forward combination of Raby, Cutler, and Martell. And here in the second period, it's the forward unit of Betts, Messner, and Power. That's looked pretty strong. Looks like there's a timeout on the ice. I'll grab some water. We'll be back in 30 minutes. 9:56 left in the second period. Utah leads 3-0. Kyle Mayhew, Kyle Betts, and Cade Jensen have the goals. This is the Grizzlies Audio Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
3-0 Grizzlies, 9:56 left in the second period. During the second intermission, we'll break down both squads' forward units. Affinity 56 Apartments, where the Grizzlies are staying this season. I actually visited the places a couple days ago, gave dinner to the team, and it looks like an outstanding place. Affinity 56 Apartments it's a great spot over about 8800 West. Just a little bit south of Kearns, south of West Jordan. I think it might actually be in West Jordan. Grizzlies hockey also brought to you by FedEx Ground. I had a package that I thought was going to get delivered 3 days ago. It was there last week. FedEx Ground, about as good as it gets. Proud sponsor of Utah Grizzlies hockey. Grizzlies hockey also brought to you by Coca-Cola, where real magic is only a sip away. Elmer Fudd here calling all the action here at Mountain America Center. Hero Arena. Draw's going to be in the Steelhead zone. Tyler Penner, one of 3 assistant captains tonight. Penner along with Keone Teixeira and Josh Wesley. Miller will take the draw for Idaho. Miller wins another faceoff. He's done a great job in the faceoff circle tonight. Heiskanen throws out to Keller, but he gets held up by Underwood. Grizzlies re-enter the zone. Penner, right side, righty shot. Saved by Fulcher. Nice blocker saved by Fulcher. Keeping it in the zone is Cade Jensen, who scored Utah's third goal. He rolls it around the board. Zalotti gets it. Ben Zalotti, wearing number 44, gets a new try. So chip it to his left for Keller. Keller skates towards the left side. Looked to center it out in front to Heiskanen, and he got held up by Penner. We're back to 5-on-5 skating. Donahue of Idaho out, as well as Brandon Cutler. As puck goes over to Jensen. Far corner will chip it ahead to Cutler. Cutler around center ice, crosses center. He gets around a skater and fires it towards the near boards, but Messner was at the end of his shift, so he didn't take the pass. As Idaho, right side, enters the zone, chips it towards the far side, looking for Hardy. He couldn't reach it. As a battle along the boards, Penner holding up a Steelhead. As Grizzlies, puck stays into the right side. Idaho, good job keeping it in. This goes back to Raby. They'll feed it across. Grizzlies chase after it. Does Martell. Cooper Jones gets there first. Grizzlies thought they kept the line, but offside on the Grizzlies as Cutler was skating towards the offensive zone. Puck exit, though, offside for Utah. 8:49 left in the second. First of 2 preseason games. We'll be back here on YouTube tomorrow night as the scene shifts to Idaho Central Arena in Boise. Coverage begins at 6:50. Face-off about 7:05. Grizzlies win the draw. Teixeira will fire it towards the near corner. Grizzlies skating from left to right here in the period. Fulcher throws to Canati. Throws it behind his back to the right side as Nardella will lose the puck. Martel in the near corner gets pushed by Canati. Martel and Canati continue to push each other. Now Martel, the whistle blows, and Aragon gets over there. He throws a left at Martel, and boy, there's a lot of action as the whistle blows. Martel wants to get after Canati. There is a big-time scrum in the near corner. Now Canati drags Martel the back of his jersey. Martel keeps his feet. Cutler acting as well. As Cutler has his helmet removed, he'll put it back on. As it looked like Martel and Canati just continued. They just started pushing each other, and they just kept going. They wouldn't stop until the whistle blew. Nick Canati's going to skate towards the penalty box, and Martel will skate to the Utah box as well. So it looks like we might have our second 4-on-4 action here in the second period. The Grizzlies did score a 4-on-4 goal when Jensen scored, with Gallant getting the assist. As Martel will get his hat from Brian Yoon, his helmet. I think one forward that's really stood out in training camp has been the Rooster, Jordan Martel. And you talk about reasons as to why the Grizzlies made the postseason. Well, I look at Jordan Martel as maybe being the number one reason. The last week of the regular year, he had 1 goal and 8 assists in 3 games against Tulsa. Grizzlies swept Tulsa in a 3-game set, and Martel was a big reason why. He was the league's player of the week for the final week of the regular season. And after being acquired in a trade with Fort Wayne, he averaged about a point a game for the Grizzlies. And the Rooster, 44 points in 45 games with Utah last year, 18 goals and 26 assists. He actually led the Grizzlies with a plus 12 rating last year. So watch out for the Rooster this year, in particular when the Grizzlies are on the power play. Looks like we're going to skate 4-on-4 again. Utah has not had a power play yet. But when the Grizzlies do get on the power play, I think Jordan Martel is going to be a big part of it. So looks like there's some confusion for the Grizzlies as to who's going to be out there. And looks like the Grizzlies are actually going to get a power play. 5 on the ice for the Grizzlies, 4 for Idaho. Svanenberg's knocking with Zalati. 2 minutes for Idaho. Looks like Canati got an extra 2 minutes. And Daniel Hardy, his name's actually on the board right now on the scoreboard for 2 minutes. So it's going to be a power play for the Grizzlies. First of the night, Utah leads 3-0. Grizz won the faceoff as Gallant over to Wesley, who slides to Betts on the right side. Betts just outside the circle over to Wesley. One-timer, kick saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes out to the far side. Grizzlies spin it back around towards Betts on the near side as he battles with Zalati, who gathers it and clears it out. Betts will come off the ice. Brandon Cutler will enter as Garrett Metcalf deep in his own zone will throw it to the far side. Haskinen cuts it off as he battles with Fitz. Raby joins the play as Svanenbergs gathers it. As Idaho won the one-on-one battle, and Svanenbergs dumps it in. Grizzlies gather it. Josh Wesley wearing number 20. That's the number Jared Power wore at the end of the regular season. Long strides for Josh Wesley across the center ice. Now he veers off to the left. He steps over the blue line, skates towards the circle, and gets it poked away. Donahue tried to clear it out. Raby somehow kept it in about chest high. It gets poked out of the zone, and the Grizzlies with a long-range pass connects to the near side, near the corner. Wesley over to Fitz, who tried to get it to Cutler, but Cutler was skating towards the near side, and Fitz will come off the ice. Grizzlies make a line change as Keone Teixeira enters. Halfway through, Utah's first power play of the game. 7:24 and counting left in the second. Utah leads 3-0. As Grizzlies cross center ice, Brandon Cutler will drop it off for Raby. Across to Gallant, wearing number 25. Gallant trying to get it back to Raby, but Raby vacated the area. Now the Grizzlies throw it back towards Raby. He'll tap it off the end boards and chase after it. Raby gets it. He'll feed it up top for Cutler. Right point, Cutler skates towards his left. He'll get over to Gallant. Righty shot, saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes back towards Gallant, who gets held up in the corner by Donahue, who's played a physical game. As Sean McBride skates over there, he knocks down a Grizzly skater. And as Gallant, as the puck goes to Cooper Jones, he clears it out. 15 seconds left in the power play. As both teams make another line change, Grizzlies gather it and spread the ice. Keone Teixeira skates down the middle. He'll drop it off as Utah enters neutral ice. Crossing center is Kyle Mayhew. Mayhew gets around Zalati. He's now in the corner, but loses it as Zalati will throw it back towards Haskinen. Now to Nardella. Make that Daniel Hardy fresh out of the box. So move it ahead to Franklin. Right side, he skates towards the circle. Righty shot and hits the side of the net. And some Steelheads fans thought that might have gone in as they saw the net move. Puck goes to Heiskanen, right point. As Idaho skates towards their left. Mark Rassel, lefty shot, is blocked by the skate of Teixeira. Teixeira moves out to neutralize. Grizzlies get it. Jared Power crosses center. He enters the zone and loses it as Lottie moves out to neutralize. Idaho gets in the zone. Jack Becker skates towards the left side. He'll take a shot that goes wide as he tried to go low on Metcalf. Franklin on the right gets a tap by Grizzly. It goes back to Becker, who broke the Grizzlies' heart last year. Over to the right side. Still had skate towards their left. As Cooper Jones over towards Lottie. One-timer, and it's wide. Make that Donahue. Metcalf makes the save as Grizzlies towards center ice dump it in. Taken back by Donahue. 5.5 minutes left in the second period. Utah leads 3-0. Becker to the right side. Looks to center it out in front. Over to Niram. Shot saved by Metcalf, who's been outstanding so far tonight. Grizzlies towards the near side. Idaho looks to center it, but Wade Murphy couldn't reach it. Passes behind him as Grizzlies moving out to neutralize. Fans take up a Let's Go Steelheads chant, even though it's a Grizzlies home game. High slot, Cook lefty shot saved by Fulcher as Vandenbergs will throw it towards the corner. Grizzlies battle as puck bounces over the stick of Dylan Stewart as Wade Murphy tried to bounce it, tried to throw it out of the zone. He hit it off the Cook. Puck goes to center ice. Mayhew will throw it towards the Idaho blue line. Zalati gets it, moves it ahead. Idaho enters the zone. Jack Becker, right side. Will skate around the net. He gets around Wesley. Looks to feed it out in front. The only guy there was a Grizzly. Utah moves it out to center ice as Wesley back in his own zone. He'll chip it ahead. It bounces off the boards near the Grizzlies bench, taken by Cooper Jones. Jones will throw it to the near far side for Zalati. He feeds it to the center ice logo. It's picked up by Wesley. Josh Wesley to the left side. Looks to center it. It goes airborne and over the stick of Messner over to the right corner. Jones moves it ahead to Hardy, but it bounces over his stick. Fitz dumps it back in. And the Grizzlies make a line change. 4.5 minutes left in the second period. Utah leads 3-0. Grizzlies right side dump it in as Yoon chips it around the net. It's towards the near side as one-on-one battle. Fitz gathers it and moves it ahead. As Grizzlies rink wide pass to Raby, gets it to the left side. He enters the zone over to Yoon, who falls down. No call on the play. Raby looks to start to Fitz. And goes back to Raby as Heiskanen poked it out of the middle. This goes back to Yoon, over to Fitz, left side. Across, picked up by Daniel Hardy. Has a glance off his stick, and it goes to neutral ice where Yoon gets it back. Brian Yoon around center ice will whip it around the boards. Cut off by Fulcher behind his net. Grizzlies make a full line change. 3:40 and counting left in the second. Utah leads 3-0. Utah 22 shots. Idaho's taken 25. So Grizzlies have a slight edge here in the second period. As Idaho moves ahead to Keller. He crosses center ice. He gets around Power. As Keller tried to get around Underwood, but he took it away, and he taps off the glass. Bouncing puck at neutral ice. Goes into the Steelhead zone. Heiskanen gathers it, and he'll feed it over to Jade Miller. Miller back behind his net, gets around Jared Power, and feeds over to the near side for Cooper Jones. Jones on the tryout deal, gets the center ice, and he'll tap it in. As Metcalf behind his net will throw it to Underwood on the near side. So gather it as Grizzlies lift it high into the air, and the puck is gloved and dropped by Jones. As we get a whistle, and it looks like a hand pass that bounced off the glove of Jones onto a teammate in Jade Miller. So the whistle blows. 2:57 left in the second. As Martell's out of the penalty box, and so is Nick Canati as we were skating 4-on-4 there. And then eventually 5-on-5 after. Actually, we're skating 5-on-4 with Utah getting the 2-minute power play. Hardy represented Canati in the penalty box. And then once we got a whistle, both guys exited and headed back to the bench. Play is starting to get a little bit physical here in the second frame. Grizzlies have really looked sharp here so far. Over the last 7 years, Utah's only won one preseason game against Idaho. Idaho wins the draw. Nick Canati skates around his net, moves ahead to Franklin, right side. Franklin at center ice fires it off the boards. Left corner, Mark Rassel with a lefty shot saved by Metcalf. Puck goes back to Cameron Cook. Cook, who dominated the SPHL the last 2 years with Evansville, skates out of the zone. He's got good speed. Cook gets the center ice. He'll chip it ahead. Canati takes it away. He'll throw it to the far side. Big time hit, Cook on Jack Becker. As the Steelheads try to dump it in, it looks like it sails out of play. Boy, Cook and Becker have some words. Actually, it's Nick Canati, as he didn't appreciate Cook delivering a hit on a guy that's maybe twice Cook's size. Jack Becker can play a physical game. Canati having some words with Cook. I got a feeling the more you see Cameron Cook, the more you're going to like. You know, he's not a very big guy, but he's somebody that looks like he can play a physical game. Last season, he did spend a little bit of time in the ECHL, mostly with Trois Rivières. He also spent a couple games with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Draws at center ice, 2:28 left in the second. Utah leads 3-0. Idaho wins the faceoff. Steelheads have dominated the faceoff circle, it looks like, as Zalati back in his own zone, goes D to D with Kanadi, who moves ahead to Becker, who couldn't reach it. McMessner gets the puck. He's in the Steelhead zone. He'll throw it to the near side as in the corner. Penner battles with Kanadi as Messner joins the play. He gets pushed by Kanadi as Mark Rassel gets it. He's got outstanding size. He'll throw it across to Zalati. Steelheads skate from blue line to blue line. They're now in the Grizzlies zone. It's behind Utah's net. Idaho trying to chip it out in front. Utah took it away. Good defensive play by Josh Wesley. Pass ahead. Penner was looking for a cutter out in neutral ice, and it's wide of Kyle Mayhew, and icing is on the Grizzlies. 1:51 left here in the second. First period goal by Kyle Mayhew. Second period goals by Kyle Betts and Cade Jensen. Garrett Metcalf so far has seen 26 shots, and he's made 26 saves. Martell out on the ice communicates with Kyle Mayhew before the face-off. Penner's out there. He'll take the draw against Vandenbergs. Draw goes into the corner. 2-on-2 battle. Nearham hacking away. Grizzlies, Josh Wesley holding his ground with Penner. As puck's still in the corner. Idaho comes out with the puck. Left side. As Cooper Jones with a righty one-timer, and it glances off the stick of Dylan Fitz and flies out of play off the protective netting behind Garrett Metcalf's net. 1:34 left in the second. During the second intermission, we'll talk about the forwards on both clubs, the Grizzlies and the Steelheads, and we'll even go over some NHL scores as well. Looks like there's a few more Steelheads fans in the building than Grizzlies fans. The Grizzlies fans are the ones that are having a good time. I'm pretty sure everybody's having a good time. It's great to see some live hockey at a pretty nice building here in Idaho Falls. Puck goes towards the right side after Utah won the faceoff as Donahue, high slot, lefty shot, redirects and goes wide. Now Donahue gets it back, high slot, lefty shot. It goes high off the glass over Metcalf's head. Steelhead skate around the net, Yoon shadowing as puck's dropped off. Teixeira gets hit by Wade Murphy. Grizzlies over in the corner, slide it towards Metcalf, who covers up. So play is stopped with 1:05 left in the second. Both teams will make a line change. Cole Gallant enters along with Jared Power and Kyle Betts. I think Cole Gallant's one of those guys that could have a pretty good pro career. He spent 4 seasons at Western Michigan University, actually 5 seasons at Western Michigan. Last year in 39 games, he had 6 goals and 18 assists. His best year is probably as a fourth-year player at Western Michigan, where he had 9 goals and 17 assists in 39 games. Idaho wins the draw. They're in the offensive zone, skating from right to left. Nick Kanadi in the high slot, bounces off a Grizzly. Utah moves it ahead. Puck on its side will roll towards Fulcher. He covers up as Jared Power skates towards him, and the whistle blows with 50 seconds left in the second. Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. So Gallant's one of those guys. He's proven he could score at the college level in 7 games with Trois Rivières towards the end of last season. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. He had a combined plus 58 rating at Western Michigan. And it was a good trade made by Ryan Kanasowicz last week to get his rights from the Lions. Grizzlies win the draw. They're in the offensive zone as Cade Jensen rolls it around the boards. Kyle Betts battles with Miller. Betts behind his net will throw it to Gallant. Gallant over towards Jensen. Lefty shot blocked by Keller. Jensen's got a goal tonight as he battles with Keller at neutral ice along the far boards. As the puck goes towards Sean McBride as Idaho won the battle along the wall. Miller will dump it in. Less than 30 seconds left in the second period. Still had to make a line change. Grizzlies from left to right will chip it out towards Jared Power. And Grizzlies tried to clear it out of the zone and ended up giving a fan a souvenir in section 110. The problem is that's a 2-minute penalty. So going to the box for Utah, I think, is Cade Jensen. He was over towards the far corner, just tried to lift it and clear it out of the zone. And somebody's going home with a game puck. And the problem is when you do that in your own zone and you don't hit glass before, you're going to get a penalty. So Idaho goes on the power play for the second time tonight. Cade Jensen, 2 minutes for delay of game. As Idaho, 21.5 seconds left in the second period. If they don't score here to end the second, they'll be on the power play to start the third. Utah leads 3-0. As Grizzlies win the face-off, and they'll clear it out. Does Josh Wesley. Fulcher skates towards the near corner, stops the puck and gets to Donahue. 10 seconds left in the frame. Donahue moves ahead to Wade Murphy, who skates down the middle as he gets it poked away by Wesley. Now Penner trying to clear it out over towards the right side. Shot saved by Metcalf. That was taken by Willie Nerum. Grizzlies clear it out, and that will do it for 40 minutes of play here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. And the Grizzlies have to be really happy with the way the first 40 minutes have gone. Outstanding performance by Garrett Metcalf. The defensive unit looks like it's been on point. And the Grizzlies got goals from guys named Kyle Mayhew in the first period, Betts early in the second, and Kay Jensen made it 3-0 as he scored on a nice centering pass from Cole Gallant. The Jensen goal was scored 4-on-4. Idaho will be on the power play the first minute 39 of the third period. It'll be interesting to see if either goaltender completes the game. Sometimes you'll see goaltender changes here in preseason to get the other guys some work, as Ryan Kanasowicz and Christian Horn walk off the Mountain America Center ice. And the Grizzlies just have played outstanding here in the first two-thirds of this contest. Second intermission here in Idaho Falls. Utah leads 3-0. We mentioned before Mayhew, Betts, and Jensen with the goals. Idaho leads the shot count 28-23. We're back in 1 minute. We'll give you some NHL scores as well. As it's the first of two preseason games, we'll also meet in Boise tomorrow night between the Grizzlies and Steelheads. These teams will meet 14 times in the regular season, and the Grizzlies have looked outstanding here in the first 40. The score after two periods, Utah 3, Idaho 0. We're back in 1 minute. This is the Grizzlies Audio Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm. And our lights on. It's the power behind the team. And a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Second intermission here in Idaho Falls. Utah leads 3-0. Two NHL games, both have gone final. Pittsburgh defeats Washington 4-0. And in a shootout, the Coyotes defeat the Devils 4-3. Looks like Sidney Crosby scored 2 goals for the Penguins, and Evgeny Malkin 1 goal and 3 assists as Pittsburgh defeats Washington 4-0. And Coyotes, in their season opener, get a victory on the road in a shootout 4-3 over the New Jersey Devils. Good game for Jack Hughes, though, as he had 3 assists for New Jersey, and Brandt had 2 goals and 1 assist. But it was Arizona that gets the road victory 4-3. 3 college football games tonight. Late third quarter, Fresno State leads Utah State 28-17. Fresno State's 5-1 on the season. Utah State is 3-3. Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes take on Stanford, and halfway through the first quarter, Colorado leads Stanford 7-0. The Buffaloes are 4-2 this season. Stanford is 1-4. And one game that's gone final in college football, Tulane defeats Memphis 31-21. Two NBA preseason games. Spurs defeat the Heat 120-104. Victor Wembanyama, the NBA version of Connor Bedard, scored 23 points. Kane had 24 points for the Heat in the loss. And late first quarter, Lakers lead the Golden State Warriors 37-30. We'll come back here and talk about the forwards for both clubs as Utah leads 3-0 here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center on the Utah Grizzlies Audio Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm. And our lights on. It's the power behind the team. And a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Expectations here will always remain high, and we'll continue to find a way.
Guys put together a lot of good games, you know.
Second intermission here at Hero Arena at Mountain America Center, and Utah leads 3-0. Kyle Mayhew with a first period goal, and Kyle Betts and Cade Jensen with second period goals. Kind of expected from Mayhew and Betts, but Cade Jensen's not a guy that scored a ton of goals in college. In fact, he had 1 goal in 23 games with Mount Royal University last season. He had 5 goals in 4 years at Mount Royal University, which also produced Jared Power, who's looked pretty good in the first 2 frames. Power had 1 goal in 16 games for the Grizzlies at the end of last season. At Mount Royal last year, Power had 5 goals and 10 assists in 27 games. Well, the forwards for the Grizzlies are a lot more familiar names and familiar faces than the defensive unit. Grizzlies fans have to be really impressed with what they've heard from the blue line tonight and what's, the fans that are here have seen. I do know what YouTube's known for, but we're going to try to paint a picture for you, even though I'm knocking off a lot of rust. As this is our audio broadcast for the upcoming season. You can catch every regular season, postseason, and even the 2 preseason games this weekend here with the audio broadcast on the Grizzlies YouTube channel. During the regular season and in the postseason, Flow Sports will be the official exclusive streaming provider of the ECHL. You can catch every Grizzlies game, but you can also catch every Steelheads game, Allen Americans, every team in the ECHL. You can catch every game. With the stream on Flow Sports, which actually is where you can catch Idaho Falls Spud Kings games. You can even catch Amarillo Wrangler games, I believe. In fact, here on YouTube, once they do it right now, because obviously we're still going on with our broadcast, but Guy Carenza, who's normally with me, and last year he was just outstanding, made my job a lot easier having Guy Carenza around. He is the voice of the NAHL's Amarillo Wranglers this season. In fact, his audio broadcast is also on YouTube, and just look up Amarillo Wranglers. You can probably find Guy. He actually had a Wranglers weekly show that looked like it was pretty good. I caught it a couple days ago. So make sure to catch our good friend Guy Carenza with the Amarillo Wranglers this season. I now have a new favorite junior team, not named the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, of course, but the Amarillo Wranglers. Rooting on Guy Carenza, who really was outstanding last year. And I know if Guy were here, he'd be talking about the forward play of the Grizzlies and all the familiar faces. I know that Guy would also be really impressed with what he's seen from the defensive unit. We've taken turns, it seems like, tonight talking about how good the Grizzlies' forward lines have been. In the first period, it was really 3 familiar names. Jordan Martell, we talked about him in the second period. He's had some good looks. He's somebody that I think can really contribute on the Grizzlies' power play this season. He was about a point a game for Utah last year after not scoring a goal with Fort Wayne in the first month of their campaign. Martell, he's somebody that you put him in either the left circle or the right circle. He seems to find a way to bury his chances. And he's done a good job in training camp and burying the chances he's had. And I think he's bound to have a pretty good year. And if Brian Kanasowicz decides to keep that 3-man forward unit intact, I think you have 3 guys that really complement each other well. Raby and Cutler both have good speed. Martell could be the finisher. Cutler really the playmaker that we saw at times dominate for the Grizzlies. Think about that game on January 27th when he had 4 goals and 2 assists. That's right. He had 6 points in the Grizzlies' 6-3 victory over Rapid City. There was other points in the season where it looked like Cutler really dominated. And he's more than just a playmaker offensively. He's a strong 2-way forward, and that's why he keeps getting chances in the AHL. A couple years ago, he was not with the Grizzlies in the second half of the season because he was spending time with the Abbotsford Canucks. And, he spent some time in the AHL there in the second half of the 2021-22 season. And last year, he was with 3 different AHL clubs, spent some time in Hartford, had some games with the Colorado Eagles, and I think Belleville, if I remember right. Cutler is just one of those guys that keeps getting opportunities. Yeah, it was Belleville, Hartford, and Colorado last year to go along with his 32 games with the Grizzlies. It's that strong two-way game that keeps getting him chances in the AHL. Now, last year, at any moment, because he did have an ECHL contract and got loaned to those three teams, this year he's on a two-way AHL deal. And so if he's going to play in the AHL, it's probably going to, it's going to be with the Eagles unless they make a trade. That really opens things up to where Cutler can end up spending a little bit more time with Utah and not have to worry about him getting loaned to a different AHL team, because he's somebody that, in his 55 games of the Grizzlies, he's been about a point a game. 27 points in 23 games a couple years ago before he went to Abbotsford. And last year, 30 points in 32 games, 15 goals and 15 assists, and he can score in bunches. We saw some physical play with Cutler there when he got pushed by Seamus Donahue. And Donahue just kind of stayed with them and, just kind of continued to hold Cutler along the boards. And eventually Cutler had enough, and both guys got matching roughing minors. But we mentioned the size-speed ratio with Cutler, 6'2" and 200 pounds. He's going to be a threat for the Grizzlies this season. And also watch out for Raby. You're talking about candidates as to who could be the leading scorer this year, because the Grizzlies did lose their top two scorers from last season in Cameron Wright and Taron Pfizer, who's going to be in the AHL with the Belleville Senators, as Pfizer looked like he was just outstanding in Ottawa Senators development camp. Cameron Wright's going to be playing with the Fort Wayne Comets this year. The third leading scorer last year was the Rooster Jordan Martell with 44 points. Andrew Nilsson was just released from the Trois Rivières Lions earlier today. Dylan Fitz returns, and Fitz is one of those guys. He is kind of bounced around a couple lines here tonight. It looks like he might play a lot with Tyler Penner, and we're talking about a pretty good 1-2 punch here. We're talking about team leaders. We're talking about guys who are in the letter. Nobody's been picked as captain yet. Josh Wesley, Keone Teixeira, and Tyler Penner all are wearing A's tonight for Idaho. Colton Keller, Donahue, and Cody Haskinen are their three alternate captains. A.J. White, their captain, is not in the lineup tonight. But if we're talking about team leaders, guys like Dylan Fitz, he's just a natural team leader, and he's got a blue-collar attitude, and he's just a very matter-of-fact guy. Somebody that you can rely on either that second or third forward line. And, Fitz scored some big goals for the Grizzlies last year, and in particular what got the season jump-started and really what gave the Grizzlies that playoff push last year was Fitz's production over the last 2 months, where he had 23 points in 27 games, and he had an outstanding plus-minus in that ratio. And it started with that road trip when he faced Savannah, had a Gordie Howe hat trick, and then really did some damage against his former team, the Orlando Solar Bears. Fitz is going to be a team leader, and Tyler Penner is going to be a leader as well. And, if you're placing odds as to who could possibly be the captain for the Grizzlies this year, those are two strong candidates. So there's been some other leaders that are new to the club, like Teixeira, who's got experience as a captain with the Indy a couple years ago. Josh Wesley, could certainly emerge as a team leader. He's looked strong over the first two frames. I think that's going to be a big factor for the Grizzlies, especially when you get through some of those tough moments in the middle of the season, those team leaders. And it looks like the Grizzlies have good leadership this season. Penner's a guy that I could see kind of return to that form he had 2 years ago when the Grizzlies won the division. Statistically, he wasn't nearly as good last year, but, a couple years ago, he was really a key piece for the Grizzlies. Winning faceoffs, making nice passes, and, just being active with his stick. A lot of poke checks for Penner a couple years ago, where he had 13 goals and 20 assists, and he actually led the Grizzlies forwards with a plus 22 rating. He played in all 72 games that year, and last season played in all 72 games and had 12 goals and 12 assists. It's kind of funny, though. I was trying to figure out about a month ago, trying to look up who is the Grizzlies' all-time Ironman, who's the leader in consecutive games played. Well, we do know that in the 21st century, it's Penner, the 144 straight. Taylor Richard, pound for pound, the toughest defenseman in the league, played in 139 straight games for the Grizzlies a handful of years ago, but he missed a couple games at the very the very end of a regular season in the 2018-2019 campaign. So Penner's got more consecutive games than him. What we're trying to figure out, though, is Gord Dineen, how many games he played in a row, because there was a 3-year stretch, the first 3 years the Grizzlies were in Utah, where Gord Dineen missed only one game. He played in all 82 games in the 95-96 season. The following year, he played in 81 games in the 96-97 season. And the first year that Maverick Center was around, back in the 97-98 year when it was known as the East Center, he played in all 82 games. What we can't figure out, though, is where Gord Dineen's missed game came from in the 96-97 campaign. Believe it or not, you can't find game logs of the IHL era. It's hard to find. So if anybody knows Gord Dineen out there, we got to figure out when he missed that one game in the 96-97 season, because if it was right in the middle, I think the following year after that 3-year stretch where he missed one game, I think he played like 67 games that following year. So when did Gord Dineen miss that game? That could end up deciding whether Tyler Penner is the all-time Grizzlies Ironman or not. You know, but it's one of those things. If you know that game, if you're at that game, if you remember wanting to watch Gord Dineen and not seeing him that night in the 96-97 season, let us know what it is, because we want to figure out if Gord Dineen or Tyler Penner has the record for consecutive games played in Grizzlies history. Well, I don't have much of a voice left. We're through 2 periods, and I've had to talk just about exclusively here for the last couple hours. Cole Gallant, we were talking about the other forwards. Gallant, we mentioned him from Western Michigan University. He had a pretty good plus minus. We know Western Michigan has a pretty good program. And if you know Ryan Kanasowicz and the style of play that he wants to have, he wants a speed game. He wants guys that can move out there. And it looks like Cole Gallant could really scoot. You could tell there was a reason he was picked up in a trade and why Ryan Kanasowicz specifically wanted him, trading future considerations with the 12 Riviera Lions. And that was because Cole Gallant looks like he's got the speed to really match up. I'll get a glass of water and come back in 30 seconds. We'll talk some hockey here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
It's Utah 3, Idaho 1, second intermission. We're talking forwards for the Grizzlies here for the upcoming season. We'll also talk about some of the guys who are not returning that the Grizzlies have to replace. One of those guys being Keaton Jamison, who's going to be playing with the Norfolk Admirals this year. Grizzlies will face Norfolk. Apparently that's how you say it. Back 3-game series in March. I'm really excited to be back at Maverick Center next week, even though this is a beautiful place and a beautiful setting here in Idaho Falls. Brand new arena that I think opened up just, about 10 months ago. It's an outstanding place. Looks like there's very few empty seats here and what looks like a sellout crowd. And the Grizzlies have played some outstanding hockey. Jamison is really a big glue piece for the Grizzlies. You can count on him winning faceoffs late in the game. If you need a hit delivered, he can do that. Not only did he not miss any game, I think he missed one game last year, but he didn't really miss any practices. Keaton Jamison was really a consistent force for the Grizzlies, and he was traded to the Admirals, who are led by former Grizzlies assistant Jeff Carr. That completed the trade that, where Aaron Tho ended up going to Utah. I'm not sure if Tho's playing at this year. He might be retired, which is the same case with the Grizzlies captain last year, Connor McDonald. But it looks like the Grizzlies have some pieces that can really, replace them. And you can say it every single year. Last year it was how you're going to replace Dastu and Trey Bradley and Mason Manick and guys like that. 2 years ago it was, how do you replace a guy like Cedric Pare and Ryan Lowney, guys like that. It's tough every year, and that's why I think teams like Idaho and Utah, year in and year out, why you see them win at a consistent level is because they have that consistent culture. It seems like it really starts at the top. Everett Sheen, you have to tip your hat because he's really one of the best players, one of the best coaches in the league, and the thing that really he does a great job of is getting the most out of all his players. So, he does a great job putting his players in a position to succeed. And really the same can be said for Ryan Kanasowicz, the Grizzlies head coach. Does a great job getting his team ready to play game in and game out. Does a great job of playing to guys' strengths And you talk about that consistent identity. Kanasowicz wanting a fast team, wanting a team that makes quick decisions with the puck, a team that can play end to end. Kanasowicz really he does a great job of implementing a system and picking up players that fit that identity. And the thing that both the Grizzlies and Steelheads have is really outstanding affiliates. Year in and year out, I don't know that there's any team in this league that gets the consistent help and really than the Steelheads get from the Dallas Stars and the Texas Stars. It's been that way for over a decade. It's been a tremendous partnership, and that's really been a big reason as to why the Steelheads year in and year out are a tough team to beat. For the Grizzlies, this will be their 6th season as an affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche and the Colorado Eagles. And it's been a great partnership. Last year the Grizzlies, and really the Avalanche and Eagles had a ton of injuries, and the Grizzlies may not have gotten nearly as much help as you would have seen previously. But you think about earlier this week, the Grizzlies getting 7 players from the Eagles, guys like Josh Wesley and Michael Underwood, and really helping out the defensive unit. Kyle Mayhew with an AHL contract as well, and Brandon Cutler. I mean, it's really quite the partnership, and who knows if the Grizzlies are just going to go with 2 goaltenders to start the season, or if they're going to get somebody from Colorado, maybe Holm, maybe Minor. It's hard to say. It looks like there's a pretty good battle for a roster spot over in Colorado. But the Grizzlies and Steelheads, year in and year out, just get that help from their affiliate, and really you want an affiliate that has that 3-tier system that really doesn't look at the ECHL as an afterthought. They actually look at it as a developmental league, a league that you can play in, get a lot of playing time. If you're talking about being a top line guy and why you'd want to have a defenseman or a forward come and play in this league and give them 20 plus minutes a game. If you're a goaltender, you can promise good playing time, just as Trent Miner the last couple of years got for the Grizzlies. And the Steelheads are their great 3-headed monster last year. They're able to use that system and really use it to their benefit. Whereas you see other teams, they get absolutely no help from their affiliates, and they're almost looked at as an afterthought. That's definitely not the case with the Grizzlies and Steelheads, and that's why every year you look towards the top of the division standings. It's Idaho and Utah with a little bit of Allen mixed in. They're going to be pretty strong with Chad Costello. Tulsa, I think, is going to have a bounce back here, and they're the Grizzlies' first opponent, the first 2 games at Maverick Center. We'll talk about the Steelheads forwards a little bit, but the Grizzlies next week, regular season starts 8 days from now. The first 7 games will be at home for the Grizzlies. In fact, 10 of the first 13 games for the Grizzlies during the regular season will be at home. The home opener for the Grizzlies will be Saturday, October 21st against the Tulsa Oilers. That's going to be a 7-10 start. Second game of the 2-game set will be Sunday at 3 p.m. on October 22nd. And then these Idaho Steelheads will be in town at Maverick Center for a 2-game series, October 27th and 28th. Don't forget the first AFCU Friday of the regular season will be on Friday, October 27th, Grizzlies and the Steelheads. And with AFCU Fridays, tickets start just $8 when you pay using your AFCU debit or credit card at the Maverick Center box office. Looks like 2.5 minutes until we get the third period underway. Utah leads 3-0. Kyle and Kyle have the Utah goals, the first 2 at least. Kyle Mayhew, a first period goal, and Kyle Betts and Kay Jensen had the second period goals for Utah. As the Steelheads have taken the ice, so too have the Grizzlies. Idaho has outshot Utah 28-23. The Steelheads are going to have a pretty strong forward lineup once again. Really, it's a lot of big guys that kind of play a big role. Willie Niram, Jack Becker. I could see big years from both of those guys. Jade Miller really has played a good, strong 2-way game today. The one guy I've been curious about, he's been there periodically, has been Mark Rassel, who had a big year with Fort Wayne last year. Rassel wearing number 92, he probably, in my estimation, could end up taking some of that production that's left with Ryan Domowski's departure. If Rassel can end up with that sort of offensive production that you saw from Domowski to go along with Ty Pelton-Weiss, who's not in the lineup tonight. Wade Murphy, who had a 20-plus goal-scoring year last year. Still, it's going to be pretty strong once again this season. A.J. White, their captain, he's been there a long time. It's that consistent identity, and really for Idaho, it's a consistent 3 forward-line units, and I don't see this year being any difference. To start the third period, As looks like 20 minutes are on the Mountain America Center scoreboard clock. Josh Wesley and Kyle Mayhew, the two defensemen. That's Kyle Mayhew, not Kyle Mayfield, the Grizzlies fan. Kyle Betts will take the draw. Jordan Martell as well. Don't forget, Idaho is going to be on the power play the first minute 39 of this third period. As Kay Jensen's in the box right now. Idaho on the power play. We've begun play here in the third period. Idaho wins the draw. They're skating from left to right here in the third. Utah leads 3-0. Colton Keller skates in, veers off to the left, feeds it across off the far boards. It exits the zone. Grizzlies get it poked away as action now on the Steelheads end. It's taken by Cody Haskinen. Left wing pass towards Raskell. Rassel hits off his skate, and clearing it out is Josh Wesley. Nick Canati behind his goaltender's net, and it's still Caden Fulcher. We'll probably see the other goalie tomorrow. As Canati still in his own end with good speed. Moves ahead to Keller at center ice. He gets at the logo. Right wing pass towards McBride. He bobbles it for a second. Mayhew takes it away. He'll bounce off of Keller. Josh Wesley spins it around the wall, and he clears the zone as it goes all the way towards Fulcher, who skates out towards the far corner. Grizzlies make a line change. So did the Steelheads. 1 minute into the third period and 40 seconds left in the power play. Utah still leads 3-0. As Idaho whips it around the boards, cut off by Underwood in the far corner. He'll carry it out of the zone as he lifted it towards center ice. It bounced off the glove of Seamus Donahue. As Wade Murphy enters, drops it off for Zalati over to Jade Miller on the right side. He has a bounce off his stick. He gets it in the right point. Fans take up a Let's Go Steelheads chant. Donahue over in the right point gets it from Miller. Across to Zalati, across to Murphy. All alone, right side shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound taken by Utah. And trying to clear it out to Brian Yoon. Couldn't fan on a backhand as Yoon gets pushed near him in the area. As it goes back to Jade Miller. Miller drops it off for Murphy. Out of the penalty box is Kay Jensen. We're back at full strength. As Jensen plays the puck on the far side. One-on-one battle with Zalati. As goes over towards Nearham. Now across to Miller, right side. Miller feeds it towards Zalati. It bounced off the stick of Jensen, but Zalati gets it. Skates towards the net. He gets held up. He waves both arms in the air, and he gets the penalty. As hooking is going to be the call. Penner and Jensen in the area. Now it looks like Jensen's gliding towards the penalty box. So Jensen just exited the penalty box in the same shift. It's a hooking call as Ben Zalati drew the penalty, and Idaho's back on the power play. 18:01 left in regulation. Utah leads 3-0. Idaho 2 shots on that power play in the first 2 minutes of the third. Dylan Fitz will take the draw against Sean McBride. McBride in his second stint with Idaho. Michael Underwood out in the ice, as is Keone Teixeira, Dakota Raby as well. As Idaho wins the draw, Nick Canati, left side over to Zane Franklin, still sporting a beard. Franklin, righty shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound, shot goes wide, as Mark Rassel was out in front of the net, and he just kind of missed it high. As Raby throws it towards Teixeira, it's picked up by Franklin. He'll feed it towards the far side for Rassel. Teixeira moves ahead to Fitz, who lifts it high into the air. Raby locates it right side. He'll skate towards his out to take a shot. He scores! Dakota Raby gets a shorty, and his baby's in the refrigerator, as it's now a 4-0 hockey game. Fitz gets the main assist as he just kind of lifted it in the air. It took a second for Raby to locate the puck. It was towards his ankle. He was able to get it. He was on the right side, veered off to the left, and he scored from the slot as he went stick side on Fulcher. And Dakota Raby, who really came up big for the Grizzlies at points last season, gets a shorthanded goal. 1:37 still left on the Kay Jensen minor penalty. Raby had 11 goals in 55 games for the Grizzlies. He also had 25 assists. Grizzlies win the draw. They're still shorthanded as Kyle Mayhew will move it ahead. It's between the legs of Mick Messner. Goes deep in the Steelhead zone as Idaho skating from left to right has a lot of work to do. It's the Grizzlies 4 and the Steelheads nothing. As Idaho gets to center ice, they'll lift it in as Donahue chases after it. Metcalf gets there first. Puck goes back to Murphy, and the bouncing puck goes off the far boards. Josh Wesley gets it, and he'll slice it out towards Fulcher as Fulcher stops it with his stick near the crease. Boy, Josh Wesley is an absolutely impressive hockey player. Looks like he's going to be a keeper for the Grizzlies all year, if he's not in the AHL, of course. Idaho, halfway through their power play, as they get to neutral ice, they cross center. Nick Canati with good speed. Gains the line, drops it off. Rassel over to Haskinen. He'll skate to the high slot. Righty shot goes wide. Puck glides towards the far side. Canati keeps it in. As Keller, left side, righty shot, saved by Metcalf, and the rebound goes out towards the near corner. Steelheads in the attack zone on the right side of the ice as Rassel loses the puck. It goes towards the slot. Cutler spins around Willie Niram, and Josh Wesley clears it out. Good job by Josh Wesley, who comes off the ice. Great shift for him. 4 new skaters for the Grizzlies. Idaho changes up as well, at least some part of it. As Idaho enters the zone again, as McBride steps over the blue line, skates towards the corner, gets cut off by Penner. 2-on-2 battle as Fitz looks on, as Teixeira battles with Keller, and Keller wins it as he'll throw it back to the right point. Haskinen over to McBride. A glance off of his stick as he fumbles it. Teixeira trying to clear it out. It gets held up by McBride. As late in the power play, out of the penalty box is Cade Jensen. Grizzlies got a shorthanded goal as Fitz skates towards the right side. Fitz with a righty shot. Glove saved by Fulcher. As he'll hold on as we get a whistle to stop play with 15:51 left in the third. So Raby with a shorthanded goal with Fitz getting the assist. Kyle Mayhew scored late in the first period. Kyle Betts and Cade Jensen with second period goals. And it's Dakota Raby shorthanded with Dylan Fitz getting the assist here early in the third period. Draws in the Steelhead zone. Kyle Betts will take the draw. He's got Cole Gallant to his left and Power to his right. Grizzlies win the faceoff. They feed over to the left point as Jensen will bounce it off the end wall. Underwood chases after it. He gets it. The puck lifts in the air. Chasing after it's Gallant, who's got great speed. Gallant to the left side. Looks to center it to Power. It was on his backhand. He'll get it to Underwood. Right wing. Righty shot. And gets redirected by the stick of Betts and goes wide. As Betts skates towards the near corner, gets it. As he'll feed it back towards Gallant. Cole's his first name. He tried to get it back to Betts. He couldn't reach it. As goes towards Jensen. Now taking it is Gallant back to Jensen. Lefty one-timer. And it kicks off the skate of Nick Nardella. As a Grizzly goes down the far side as Idaho gets the puck. Nardella's been good tonight. They'll skate towards the right side. As he'll bounce it off a Grizzly. Nardella chasing after it in the corner. Goes to Gallant, who throws to Underwood. It goes back to the right side. Nardella, righty shot. That's blocked by Jensen, who's been good tonight. Jensen's had a couple penalties, but he's really been a physical force. It kicks it over to Underwood. Underwood's pass to Betts is wide as Haskinen battles with Power. Now goes to the right side near him. Righty shot saved by Metcalf. As Gallant tried to clear it out. Kanati keeps it in. Left side skates towards the circle. Lefty shot. And it's blocked by Jensen again. 2 block shots in this shift. Puck goes back to center ice. As Nick Kanati back at the Idaho blue line resets. As Jensen comes off the ice. Great shift for him. As Idaho throw it back towards Kanati. It's past him. As Wade Murphy will fire it over towards the right corner. As it goes airborne and bounces off the wall on no hops. As Mayhew over to Cameron Cook. So he'll lift it out towards Dylan Stewart, who chases after it. Stewart's got good size at 6'1", 209 as he gets hit by Kanati behind Idaho's net. Now out in front, Cook shot. A stick saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes back to Cook on the near side. So whip it around the wall. Chasing after it's Josh Wesley, but he gets cut off by Niram. Willie Niram's got outstanding size, maybe the biggest of all the Steelheads. He'll throw it out to center ice. Vandenbergs couldn't get it. As Mayhew rolls it along the wall. Cut off behind the net by Fulcher. They'll throw it towards the far corner. Stewart over to Cook, who lifts it over towards Brandon Cutler, but it goes past him as it wobbles towards Metcalf, who gets to the left circle, trying to clear it out. Couldn't. Metcalf falls down. He gets back to his feet. Idaho fires a shot and goes high as Metcalf gets back to his feet as he fell on his keister. As Mayhew over towards Wesley, back to Mayhew. As Mayhew gets out towards center ice looking for Cutler, glanced off his stick and flies in the Steelhead zone. Chasing after it is Seamus Donahue, who played overseas last year. He's a native of North Oaks, Minnesota. As Idaho moves ahead towards Mark Rassel, but the whistle blows. The Steelheads are offside. As Rassel tried to drop it back off for Becker, but Rassel had entered the zone before the puck. 13:20 K-Fan left in the third period. Utah leads 4-0. Idaho's outshot Utah 33-27. Make sure to join us tomorrow night. I know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there, but we appreciate you choosing the Grizzlies here this weekend. Tomorrow night, 6:50 pregame show, 7:05 face-off over at Idaho Central Arena. It's essentially the Grizzlies' home game, as Idaho Falls owned by pretty much the same people who own the Grizzlies. Idaho wins the draw, dumps it in, as Brian Yoon to the far side, gets to Teixeira behind Utah's goal line. He feeds out to Raby, back to Teixeira, wearing number 74. He'll throw it to the right point, cut off by Becker. Action in the Grizzly zone as Franklin around the net, skates around Metcalf, being shadowed by Teixeira. Teixeira pushes Franklin, drags him down. As Yoon skates over there, he gets hit by Jones. As now Yoon gets pushed by Franklin. He's trying to locate the puck. Idaho tries to escape the corner, and they'll get it up top as Idaho. Jack Becker will throw it back to the corner. Everybody's vacated it. Becker gets pushed by Cutler, but keeps the puck. Up top for Cooper Jones. He'll take a shot, and it gets deflected by a stick and flies out of play off the protective netting as we stop play with 12:40 left in the third. All season long, we're going to be honoring or remembering Grizzlies co-owner and co-founder David Elmore, who passed away in June. We know that he had an impact in the Idaho Falls sports scene as he was owner of the Idaho Falls Chuckers and even had a hand in the Idaho Falls Spud Kings in the making of this building. And the Elmore family as well. Certainly thinking about them all season long. Idaho wins the draw. Shot goes over Metcalf's head and off the glass as McBride gets pushed out of the zone by Cade Jensen. Boy, Jensen's looked outstanding tonight in the entire Grizzlies defensive unit. Utah leads 4-0, and Grizzlies fans have to be ecstatic at how their team's performing tonight. Idaho still in their own zone from left to right, the defending Western Conference champions. As they get towards center ice, they try to dump it in. It bounces off of Jensen. He moves it ahead as Grizzlies. Mick Messner, he gets hip checked over at the Idaho blue line as we get a whistle as Messner got dragged down, and it looks like it's going to be a slashing call. And the Idaho partisan crowd didn't like it. Looks like it's a penalty on the Steelheads. So the Grizzlies power play goes to work. Looks like Nick Canati goes to the box. Well, he's been physical all game long. He's probably Idaho's smallest defenseman, and he's been the one that's been the most physical. He'll serve 2 minutes. Draw is going to be in the Steelhead zone. Garrett Metcalf gets a swig of water on the Grizzlies bench. Grizzlies power play goes to work. Dylan Fitz in the left wing, taking the faceoff. Tyler Penner. Dakota Raby to the right side. Up top is the Rooster, Jordan Martell, and Josh Wesley. 4 forwards, 1 defenseman on this line. As draw won by the Steelheads. Seamus Donahue gets it. He'll throw it out of the zone as the puck on its side kind of wobbles towards Metcalf, who plays it behind his net. So Grizzlies power play goes to work up by 4. Martell gets it. So he'll throw it to Josh Wesley, who's quarterbacking this power play. Wesley behind Utah's net. He'll throw it to his side for Cutler, who gets out to center ice. Martell couldn't reach it. Idaho gathers it at center ice. Donahue dumps it back in. As Metcalf throws it back towards Wesley, who skates down the middle. He gets around near him. Now Wesley with good speed gets to center ice, drops it off. Martell crosses center, and he'll feed it to his left. It's picked off as Idaho 2-on-1. Steelheads enter the zone. They try to get to Becker. Passes wide of the mark as Fitz gets the puck. As he'll skate around his net. He'll drop it off for Wesley again. Wesley, 167 games of AHL experience. He skates down the middle with the long strides. He'll drop it off for Martell. Gets the center ice, left wing. Martell enters the zone, gets around Heiskanen. Martell now around the net, feeds it to Raby. Shot saved by Fulcher. Great pass by Martell as Grizzlies set up in the left side as Raby almost had a second of the game. As Grizzlies throw it up top for Cutler, left side. They'll feed it to Wesley. 45 seconds left in the power play. Wesley over to Raby, who switches places. Now Raby skates towards his left. Raby over to the left side of Martell. One-timer, he scores! The Roosters made it 5-0 as Jordan Martell fired a blast that went over the left shoulder of Caden Fulcher. That's just what I was talking about. Martell on the power play this year. And he high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench. And boy, what a night for the Grizzlies. Goals from 5 different players. They are absolutely buzzing tonight. 5-0 Utah. It's a power play goal. Grizzlies have scored 4 different ways. They've scored 5-on-5. They've scored 4-on-4. They've scored shorthanded. And now they've scored on the power play. What a dominating performance by Ryan Kanaswich's unit here tonight. We're back to 5-on-5 skating as Utah wins the faceoff. Michael Underwood to the far side. Throws it across towards Power. He couldn't reach it. It was about waist high as Cade Jensen gets it. Jensen over to Underwood. As Underwood, Michael's his first name. I asked him Michael or Michael, and he said Mike. Michael. He's actually Mike on the Hockey DB page. As Idaho enters the zone, skates towards left side as Underwood shadowing the Steelhead, and that's Jade Miller, or make that Aaron Aragon, as Underwood, rink wide pass to Power. He gets to center ice. He fires the lefty shot that goes wide. It hit off the GMC sign. As Grizzlies get towards Teixeira, he's in the left corner. Looks to center it to Power. Shot didn't get much on it as he was cut off by a Steelhead. As Utah in the attack zone, Brian Yoon fires a righty shot that hits off the glass behind Fulcher's net. Fulcher trying to cover up. Grizzlies hacking away. Halfway through the third period, Utah leads 5-0. Grizz go over to Yoon. Across to Teixeira, wearing number 74. Teixeira surveys. And feeds over towards Stewart. Dylan Stewart towards the left corner. Gets a one-on-one battle. Idaho pokes it away. Steelheads lifting out to center ice. It's gloved and dropped by Teixeira. He'll feed it across to Yoon, who dumps it in. Steelheads chase after it. Nick Canati around his net with good speed. Canati skates down the middle. He loses the puck as he tried to move it ahead to Murphy. Murphy was skating the other way. Cook gets blasted along the boards near Idaho zone. Steelheads get the puck. 9:18 and counting left in the third. Utah leads 5-0. A dominating performance here in the preseason opener. Idaho enters the zone. Murphy, left wing, righty shot. Glove saved by Metcalf. And he holds on. 9:10 left in the third period. Grizzlies 1 goal in the first. That's Kyle Mayhew late in the frame. 2 second period goals, Betts and Cade Jensen. And 2 third period goals. Dakota Raby shorthanded and the Rooster Jordan Martell on the power play. We're back in 45 seconds after this word from Maverick and Rio Tinto. 5-0 Grizzlies on the Grizzlies Audio Network. 9:10 left in the third.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm. And our lights on. It's the power behind the team. And a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Grizzlies lead 5-0, 9:10 left in the third. And it's really not that the Grizzlies lead 5-0, but they've scored in a variety of ways. Martell on a one-timer from the left circle, which looks like it's going to be his office this year. Raby shorthanded, making a nice move, skating towards his left before taking the shot. Jensen on a nice centering pass from Cole Gallant late in the second period. Kyle Betts just kind of making a nice one-on-one move, and Kyle Mayhew just making it happen in the first period. It's been so long, I can't really remember what Mayhew did in the first period, but he looked like it was kind of a different variety of a goal as well. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Garrett Metcalf's been outstanding tonight. Dean Yakura taking the draw. Yakura, we mentioned, has got a pretty lengthy resume as a hockey player. We'll talk about that a little bit. You know, he's spent a lot of time with a lot of different teams, including the Idaho Steelheads about 13 years ago. Idaho wins the draw as Heiskanen back over in the far corner as he's in the attack zone. He'll drop it off for Murphy, who fumbles the puck. He battles with Mayhew. Stewart in the area as well. Puck goes out towards center ice. Taken by Idaho. Canati back in his own zone. Gets pushed by Cameron Cook. Now Cook and Canati battle. Cook wins the battle. He'll throw it up top for Mayhew, who skates towards his left, trying to get it back to Cook, but he was occupied. As Murphy throws it towards the right point, taken by Utah. As Wesley towards Cook, who couldn't handle it. Now Nick Canati skates down the middle, 1-on-2. Grizzlies double team him and knock him down. Great defensive play by Mayhew, and Wesley sandwiching Canati. As the Grizzlies, Cameron Cook crosses center ice. Cook skates towards his left. He gets it taken away by Donahue. As Canati has been physical, but he's also taken some hits as well. Steelheads cross center ice. They wrap it around the boards. Goes back towards Messner. As he tried to get to Becker in the point, he couldn't handle it. It goes back to center ice. Turnover. Dylan Fitz skates down the middle, righty shot. And it goes wide as it was a one-on-one battle with McBride chasing after him. As the Steelheads, Zane Franklin gets held up. Fitz in the attack zone, gets to Penner, back to Fitz. As Fitz throws it towards Cade Jensen, who's been outstanding tonight. Back to Fitz. Fitz trying to get it back towards Jensen. And the puck goes into the Grizzly zone. As Underwood around his net. Will throw it to center ice looking for Penner. Penner couldn't reach it. And icing is on the Grizzlies as we get a whistle with 7:39 left in regulation. Utah leads 5-0 as Michael Underwood getting some work with Cade Jensen. Well, if we're looking at standouts tonight, you know, I was coming in looking at the defensive unit first and foremost, and they've really impressed tonight. I mean, Idaho has taken 34 shots, but it's really been the Cade Jensen show. Last 2 periods, he's just been outstanding. The Mount Royal product, who's going to be entering his first season as a pro. Draws on the far side, Penner against Jade Miller. Steelheads have been pretty good in the faceoff circle tonight, winning their fair share. Puck goes towards the corner as Keller battles with Underwood. Hard to say who won the draw. 2-on-2 battle in the corner as Underwood gets dragged down. Now he gets back to his feet, and he puts Colton Keller in a bear hug as Keller's helmet gets removed. We've seen Keller get ultra physical with Grizzlies players in the past, and Keller just put both palms in the air and said, "What did I do?" As Underwood just kind of had him in a headlock there for a second. It looks like Underwood's going to the box. I think it's going to be an Idaho power play, though, as Underwood looks like he's the only one going to the penalty box right now with 7:25 left in regulation. Same teams tomorrow night. There was a lot of chatter before the game as to whether we're going to see some physical stuff or not. I know we've seen some skirmishes here and there. We haven't necessarily seen the full-on fight yet. Maybe we'll see that here later on, and we'll see it tomorrow. I've been told, though, in junior hockey, you have some of those rules to where fighting's not allowed. So it sounds like there hasn't been a fight in this arena yet. So maybe here in the final 7:25 of regulation, we can finally get one of those. Utah leads 5-0. Underwood gets 2 minutes for roughing, and Idaho's on the power play. Jack Becker enters the fray. He'll take the face-off. Spanenberg's in the right wing. Up top, Wade Murphy and Seamus Donahue. Grizzlies win the draw. Yoon tried to clear it out, and Murphy kept it in the high slot. Donahue over to Spanenberg's. He's in the left circle up top for Donahue. Across to Murphy, just outside the right circle, skates in. Gets it across towards Heiskanen, or Spanenberg's. He'll take a shot that goes wide as Murphy throws up top for Donahue. Back to Murphy. Murphy, 22 goals last season, takes a shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound to Spanenberg's on the far side. Up top for Donahue. He'll take a lefty shot, and he bounced off his teammate Becker. As it goes towards the left side, just outside the circle. Spanenberg's across to Murphy. He'll take a shot, saved by Metcalf. Grizzlies get it, and Brian Yoon clears it out. Great job by Garrett Metcalf, as the Steelheads had a couple good looks, and Metcalf stopped them all. 1:18 and counting left in the power play. Utah still leads 5-0. Steelheads on the power play as carrying down the middle is Heiskanen. He enters the zone. He gets checked by Wesley. Wesley looks around. No call. Looked like he was looking for the referee to see if he was raising his arm. McBride swings and misses. He was trying to throw a pass to Mark Rassel as McBride will get it up top for Heiskanen. Across towards Kanadi. Back to Heiskanen. He's in the high slot. He'll get over to Franklin. Feeds it down the middle for McBride. Now right wing shot. Glove saved by Metcalf as Kanadi with a quick-looking wrist shot from the right side. Metcalf makes a glove save. 37 for 37 on saves is Garrett Metcalf here so far tonight. 6:14 left in the third. 50 seconds left in the Steelheads power play. And what a performance by the Grizzlies tonight. I don't think you can ask any more of Ryan Kanasowicz's crew here tonight. We're talking about making a first impression. This is an outstanding first impression for the Grizzlies tonight against the defending Western Conference champion. As Idaho wins the draw, Heiskanen will get it over to Kanadi, who's been good tonight. He'll get it to Franklin, left circle. Franklin dances around. He gets taken away by the other number 61, Kyle Betts. Betts over towards Messner. Messner enters the zone, 2-on-3. Messner, left wing, lefty shot, saved by Fulcher, and he covers up as there's 30 seconds left in the power play for Idaho. And Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. 5:55 left in regulation. Grizzlies up 5-0. Utah Grizzlies hockey brought to you by Coca-Cola, where real magic is only a sip away. And by Mountain Land Supply Company. Mountain Land's going to be the sponsor of a lot of the big promotions this season. Grizzlies will be home for the first 7 games of the regular season, including a 2-game set against Idaho in the second week of the regular season, October 27th and 28th. Idaho gets it. Utah took a shot right off the draw, saved by Fulcher. The Steelheads dump it around the wall. Mark Rassel back towards Murphy. The Grizzlies cut it off. Kyle Mayhew will clear it out. Not to be confused with Kyle Mayfield, Grizzlies fan. I see it every home game. Idaho blue line to blue line pass connects to Rassel. He immediately gets cut off by Brian Yoon. As Cam Cook gets it, and he clears it out. As Cook avoids a check of Colton Keller. And out of the penalty box is Michael Underwood. Unlike Grizzlies games, they don't tell you when the guy comes out of the penalty box. As Idaho will carry it into the zone. Left wing, shot saved by Metcalf. That was taken by Daniel Hardy. Hardie is last name. As Keller, collision out in front of the net. As Hardy goes down, battling with Teixeira. And the puck bounces to center ice. Dylan Fitz carries over towards the right side. Righty shot, and it goes wide. That's where he scored a lot of his goals, just kind of sprinting towards the right circle and then firing a blast. He scored probably 5 or 6 goals that way last year. But this one went wide and deflected out of play as we get a whistle with 4:54 left in regulation. Idaho with 38 shots, Grizzlies with 33. Make sure to get your tickets for opening night. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fun Utah Grizzlies club this season. Obviously, it's one game and it is preseason, but Utah's looked impressive. And they got better each day in practice as the week went on. Idaho wins the draw. They'll throw it out to center ice. Puck lifts and goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. No icing as Metcalf will fire it towards the near wing boards. It's taken by Nardella. He battles with Gallant. Gallant gets knocked down by Hardy. As it's going to be a penalty on the Steelheads. Delayed penalty. Grizzlies cross center ice. The Rooster skates towards the left. He's around the corner, getting around Cooper Jones. As Martell still with the puck on the right side, gets up top for Jensen. Jensen with a lefty shot. On it gets redirected and goes wide. As Grizzlies still on the delayed penalty, still have the puck. As Utah gets over towards Brandon Cutler, he drops it off for Jensen, left point. Across to Wesley, who centers it towards Power. Backhand shot. Saved by Fulcher. Grizzlies backhand. Grizzlies get it. Wesley shot, saved by Fulcher. Utah still with it. Idaho looking to touch it up as Cutler skates around. Wade Murphy looks to center it. It bounced off a Steelhead and rolls towards Fulcher, who covers up. And so the power play for Utah will start as the penalty was back in the Grizzlies zone. And then Utah, on the delayed penalty, were able to kill about 30 seconds of clock time. Looks like Daniel Hardy's going to the box. He just ran into a Grizzly. Probably interference be the call. Charging. Looks like charging is the call. Grizzlies will be on the power play. 3:57 left in the third. As we mentioned, the Grizzlies have scored in a variety of ways. Power play, shorthanded, 4-on-4, and 2 5-on-5 goals here tonight. 4 minutes for charging. According to the PA announcer, I think it's the PA announcer of the Idaho Falls Chuckers. And it's good to be back. 2-minute penalty. Javier corrected himself. I spent a summer in Idaho Falls in 2018 working with the Idaho Falls Chuckers and working with the legendary John Balgini. Grizzlies power play for 2 minutes. Kyle Betts will take the draw, left circle, and it's taken by Idaho as Nick Canati back in the corner. He's seen a ton of ice time tonight. He'll throw it back towards the far corner, chasing after it's near him. He couldn't clear it out as he fumbled it for a second. Kyle Mayhew, right side, looked to center it. Idaho picks it off. They try to clear it out. Teixeira keeps it in. They'll get to the right side for Kyle Betts. Betts wearing number 61, drops off for Mayhew, right point. Across to Teixeira. Over in the high slot, back to Mayhew, just outside the right circle. Mayhew surveys, gets double teamed, throws the Betts back to Teixeira. Lefty shot, saved by Fulcher. Rebound goes out towards the far corner. As Mayhew over to Martell, back to Teixeira. He gets it to Mayhew, right side. Mayhew backhands it, centers it over towards Gallant. He'll take a shot, and he scores! Second power play goal for the Grizzlies as Cole Gallant finds the back of the net. 6 different Grizzlies have scored a goal tonight. It's their second power play goal of the third period, and Utah's taken a 6-0 lead. What a dominating performance by the Grizzlies tonight. And Cole Gallant finds the stat sheet. And that's what's made tonight fun. It's not domination by 1 or 2 guys. It's been everybody for the Grizzlies that's played well. Every forward line, Gallant, the 6th different player to score a goal. Cade Jensen's been outstanding. The experienced guys, Josh Wesley, Keone Teixeira, they've exceeded expectations. Yoon's played well as well. Michael Underwood. This has been a complete performance by the Grizzlies tonight. Utah wins the faceoff. We're back to 5-on-5 skating. As Grizzlies towards the right side enter the zone. Dylan Stewart across to Cook. As Grizzlies look to kick the extra point, they've already scored a 6-point touchdown. As Idaho will lift it out towards the Grizzlies bench. It ricochets off the wall. Garrett Metcalf gets it. We're not going to mention that word that starts with an S. Not going to do it for the next 3 minutes. As Cook throws it towards Underwood. It is preseason, though. But and one of those things is pretty good as well. Cook will throw it towards the near side. As looks like Mayhew will get an assist as Idaho gets towards center ice. Steelheads left side. Chip it towards Murphy. It gets cut off. Grizzlies gather it. Brian Yoon, the Colorado College captain last year, moves it towards Fitz on the right side. Fitz skates towards the corner. Tried to roll it around. Canati got a stick in the way as Idaho back in their own zone will start the attack from left to right. Idaho crosses center ice. Cooper Jones dumps it in as Teixeira chases after it. Good job by Penner cutting off Jones's pursuit. As Mick Messner will throw it towards Fitz, who crosses center ice. Fitz lightly taps it in. Fulcher cuts it off at the near goal line as the Grizzlies make a full line change. 2 minutes left in regulation. Dos Minutos as Idaho to the Offensive zone. Rassel gets it poked away by Mayhew. Cutler gets it. Cutler crosses center ice with speed. Now he enters the zone. Skates towards the left circle. Cutler feeds out in front. Shot. Saved by Fulcher. Did the splits. What a pass by Brandon Cutler, who found a cutting Josh Wesley towards the net. And that's the best save that Fulcher's made all night. Backup goaltender for Idaho is Brian Thompson, a rookie who's got an AHL contract with the Texas Stars. He played in the WHL with Lethbridge last season. We'll probably see him in net tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll probably see Dante Giannuzzi, the former Portland Winterhawk, make his pro debut. He actually spent training camp over the last couple of weeks with the Manitoba Moose. 1:44 left in the third. Grizzlies have now outshot the Steelheads 39-38, which means they have a big edge here in the third period. Raby from the right side looked to center. It's cut off by Colton Keller, who feeds it to center ice. Grizzlies get it back as Cutler crosses center ice. He'll chip it in as it glances off the stick of Donahue, who gathers the puck. They'll move it towards Nardella. Far side, he centers it to Heiskanen, who with the long strides crosses center ice, and he loses the puck. It's been that kind of night for Idaho. Keller gets it back, though, near the Steelheads bench. Try to move it ahead. Cutler intercepts it. He tried to dump it in, but Keller picks it off. Keller throws it towards Nardella. 1:09 and counting left in the third. Utah leads 6-0. As Canati ahead towards Zane Franklin. He taps it off the far glass as Hardy couldn't get it. 1 minute left in the third as Wesley behind his net. Grizzlies spread the ice. Metcalf ducks his head so Wesley could see better up ice. As Grizzlies up ahead, a stick breaks as Jared Powers' equipment let him down. He gets a new stick from new equipment manager Jackson Hibbert. Chris the Beast Bestel's been their equipment manager, I think, from day one, and he's still in Idaho. As Underwood throws it ahead to center ice, Grizzlies lift it high into the air. It taps off the end wall in the Steelhead zone. Idaho gets it. 25 seconds left. Pass up ahead. Idaho, Daniel Hardy throws it in, but not all the way. As throwing it back out's Cade Jensen. As Grizzlies carry it towards the zone, a whistle blows. It looks like the Grizzlies call for a hand pass. 16.6 seconds are left in regulation. We always joke about jinxing shutouts and stuff like that in the third period when the Grizzlies have one going. We could probably assume that one's going to be here tonight. Garrett Metcalf shutout. Have to check the Amarillo Wranglers game. Now remember, if you want to catch our good friend Guy Carenzi, he's the voice of the Amarillo Wranglers. You can catch that broadcast as his audio broadcasts are on YouTube, just like ours are. Looks like a 2-minute penalty for the Grizzlies. I couldn't hear what the PA announcer said as to why Michael Underwood's in the box. Boy, if Idaho scores in the next 16 seconds, I'm going to believe that shutout jinx stuff. Jade Miller will take the draw. He's won a lot of faceoffs for Idaho. The Steelheads have done a good job in the faceoff circle this evening. Dean Ukura will take the faceoff for Utah. Draw one by Idaho as Cooper Jones, high slot, throws it to Murphy. Murphy takes a righty shot, and it's blocked. Grizzlies get it. Cade Jensen clears it out. Jensen blocked the shot, and then on one knee cleared it out. Have a night, Cade Jensen. And that will do it. 2 seconds, 1 second. Grizzlies win! Grizzlies win 6-0, and there was no doubt about it as Garrett Metcalf gets a shutout as he stopped all 39 shots. And what a performance. 6 different Grizzlies get a goal. They scored shorthanded. They scored 2 power play goals. They scored 2 5-on-5 goals, and they also scored 4-on-4. Brian Kanasowicz walking off the ice, and he has to be ecstatic, along with the new assistant coach, Christian Horn. What a performance by the Grizzlies. I know it's preseason, but you talk about first impressions, an absolutely dazzling first impression by the Grizzlies here tonight. And a crowd that had mostly Steelheads fans in attendance with a few Grizzlies rooters here at beautiful Mountain America Center. It was just an outstanding performance. The Grizzlies salute the fans here. It is considered a home game for the Grizzlies and home sweet home. The first game here in Idaho Falls, and it's a 6-0 shutout as the Grizzlies just dominated in every phase of the game. Special teams, Metcalf is outstanding. Idaho really had some good looks among the 39 shots they had, and Garrett Metcalf just made one big save after another. And after a first period where he allowed a few rebounds, boy, the last 40 minutes, there was very few second chances for Idaho out in front. Josh Wesley talking with the referee. He's got about 5 or 6 years of pro experience, maybe even more than that. Boy, he looked impressive tonight. I think you have to say that about every Grizzly. What a night as Utah wins 6-0. We'll come back and put a bow on this one and recap things as the Grizzlies defeat the Steelheads in preseason action. Final score, Utah 6, Idaho 0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Boy, the Grizzlies look sharp tonight. That's not normally the case in the preseason. That's the first Grizzlies preseason win since the start of the 2018-2019 season when Caleb Herbert got a game winner in a shootout. Jared Youngman, vice president of the Grizzlies, excited as the Grizzlies were just outstanding tonight. If we had a second microphone, we'd probably talk with Jared Youngman as he's in the office right next to me at Maverick Center. Hey, what can you say? It really was from start to finish. First period, Idaho had a shot edge, but the Grizzlies got on the board first as Kyle Mayhew at 3:07 left in the period. He I don't remember the type of goal he scored, but he found the back of the net. And Utah led 1-0 after one. Kyle Betts made it 2-0 early in the second period. Betts just kind of skated down the middle. There wasn't much to it. He's the kind of guy that could run into 20 goals a year. He's only on an ECHL contract, which means he might be a candidate to be picked up by an AHL team. And you talk about top two-way forwards on the Grizzlies. Kyle Betts was that towards the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't think the stats are really working tonight, so I don't remember the time of goal, but Kyle Betts scored early in the second period. And then then there was matching roughing minors. We had 4-on-4 action, and Kay Jensen found the back of the net. You talk about key additions to the Grizzlies. Kay Jensen, wearing number 23. I knew that he would bring some size to the table and would play physical. But Kay Jensen not only scored the goal to make it 3-0, but he played a physical game. He blocked shots. He was great on the shorthanded situation. He's probably not going to play power play all that much. But Kay Jensen was outstanding. He was one of the guys I was looking for, trying to figure out what kind of role he was going to play. Jensen looks like he's going to be a regular in the Grizzlies lineup with the way he played tonight. The Mount Royal product, the college teammate of Jared Powers, Kay Jensen really had an outstanding night. And it ended, Metcalf's shutout ended with Jensen blocking a shot with less than 10 seconds left and then on one knee clearing it out to complete the game. Kay Jensen, what can you say? It looks like he's going to be a fun one to watch for the Grizzlies all season. Utah led 3-0, and then they led 3-0 after two periods. Trying to remember exactly what happened in this game. Grizzlies got shorthanded, and then Dylan Fitz was over to the right side, fed it across, fed it up for Raby. Raby was to the right side, kind of veered off to the left into the slot, and just fired a lefty shot that went past the Idaho goaltender Caden Fulcher. That made it a 4-0 hockey game. Then the Grizzlies got on the power play, and the Rooster, Jordan Martell from the left circle. I think we're going to see that a lot this season. We did see a lot of that towards the end of the regular season. We probably saw it more from the right side, though, this year. And in particular, the goal he scored in the third period was from the left side, and that made it 5-0. And then late in the third period, Grizzlies got another power play, and it was Cole Gallant, who had a pretty good 5-year stay with Western Michigan University. Scores his first as a pro, even though it is preseason. Didn't look like they were keeping the pucks for the guys who scored their first goals. But Cole Gallant, we talk about the identity that Ryan Knaswich wants, and that identity being speed. Cole Gallant fits that perfectly. End to end, it looks like he's about as fast as anybody on the team, and that includes Dakota Raby. So Cole Gallant found the back of the net to make it 6-0. And not to be outdone, it's hard to say who the three stars of the game would be. Garrett Metcalf might end up being number one, a 39-save shutout for number 39. and Metcalf, what can you say? We mentioned it right as we were ending the last segment. He allowed a few rebounds there in the first period, and then he really settled in the last 40 minutes. He was a brick wall. For a guy that's about 6'5" and really is as agile as Metcalf is, he's kind of built more like a basketball player. When he's on, kind of like Trent Miner, when Trent Miner's on, you're not scoring a goal against him. And tonight, Garrett Metcalf was kind of channeling his inner Trent Miner and getting the clean sheet for Utah. as the Grizz win 6-0. It's the first of 2 preseason games. I imagine Idaho's going to have a bounce-back effort tomorrow night, and they're going to really put together a good game over at Idaho Central Arena. I do think that game, if it's like it was in years past, I think the only people that can get in are season ticket holders or people who have like a ticket package with the Steelheads. That might be the only people that will be in attendance tomorrow. Even then, it seems to be a pretty good crowd, and Idaho does sell out just about every night. Tonight was pretty much a sellout. There was maybe a couple rows of empty seats there in Section 113. Otherwise, it was a great environment. You could tell there were more Steelheads fans and Grizzlies fans in attendance because there wasn't as much cheering for any of the 6 goals. But the Grizzlies, really put together a performance. And you talk about first impressions. This was an outstanding first impression. As just about everybody played well, and you could see the smile, or I saw the smile. And even on a radio broadcast, even audio-wise, you could probably hear and see the smile of Ryan Knaswich and Christian Horn as they were walking off the ice. I think they're expecting to play well tonight. They had a 2-hour practice yesterday, and you knew that they wanted to get ready to play the preseason. And over the last handful of years, Idaho has had their way with Utah in the preseason. Tonight, though, it was all Grizzlies, 6-0 the final score. I know tomorrow we'll probably talk about a lot of the same things that we talked about here tonight, but we're going to have some fun nonetheless. We know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. So we appreciate you choosing the Grizzlies tonight. Kind of our unique broadcast where, it's an audio broadcast, and yes, we're on YouTube. And no, I can't turn the camera around because league rules say we can't, as Flow Sports is the exclusive video stream provider, and every regular season game and postseason game will be on Flow Sports. Make sure you get a subscription because it is worth it. You get to see the Grizzlies in action. If they play anything like they did tonight, it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. And remember, the Grizzlies will be home for 7 straight games to begin the regular season. I can't think of a better way to pitch the Grizzlies for tickets. I can't give you a better sales pitch than what the Grizzlies performed out there on the ice over the last 3 hours. Every part of the game was great, and the Grizzlies scored 4 different ways: 2 power play goals, 2 5-on-5 goals. They scored shorthanded. They scored 4-on-4. What can you say? Just a great first impression for the Grizzlies here in the upcoming season. And you're going to want to be at Maverick Center. Now, I know there's some college football games going on early in the regular season, but you want to be there at Maverick Center. DVR, the games you want to see. Come out October 21st and see the Grizzlies take on the Tulsa Oilers. Remember, Tulsa is going to be in for a 2-game set. The Sunday game on October 22nd is going to be a 3 o'clock start. The first AFCU Friday of the regular season will be the 3rd regular season game for the Grizzlies. That's going to be 2 weeks from now on October 27th as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads. It'll be the first of 14 regular season meetings between the clubs. And then Saturday, October 28th is also going to be a 7 o'clock start. And then the Grizzlies have a bye week, 3rd week of the regular season. And then the Wichita Thunder will be in town for a 3-game set. The first Bud Light College night of the regular season will be on Wednesday, November 8th with discounted student tickets. I think they're actually $8 tickets, which is about as good a deal as you can get. You can't even get a good dinner for $8, but you get that in a couple of occasions in the Grizzlies' first homestand, AFCU Fridays, as well as Bud Light College night on Wednesday, November 8th. And then we're going to have some fun when the series continues with Wichita on November 10th and 11th on Friday and Saturday. 10 of the first 13 games of the regular season will be at home for the Grizzlies, and you're going to want to catch all the action live at Maverick Center. If not, we got the game with the audio version on YouTube and Flow Sports, obviously, with a subscription, which really is worth the money, especially if you're going to watch a ton of Grizzlies games, especially on the road this season, because it looks like if the Grizzlies are going to be a pretty good team. I know it's one preseason game, but tonight, that's all we can go off of right now. And tonight, the Grizzlies really had their way with the Idaho Steelheads. Well, that'll wrap things up as I got to pack up the gear, and I hope the team doesn't take off without me to the hotel. It was fun to be on the road and actually watch the game live and in person. Even though we were here in the corner a little bit, it was tough to kind of see the left end of the ice, and that's where the Grizzlies scored their 3 goals in the 3rd period. We tried to describe the action the best we could, although admittedly I was a bit rusty as it's been about 5 or 6 months since I've called a hockey game, and I don't think there's any sport in the world that's any tougher to try to describe and call as a hockey game. But hopefully we had some fun, though, and we got through all the mistakes I made. But, hey, we had some fun along the way. I hope the Steelheads fans, despite the scoreboard and the way the game turned out. Hopefully they enjoyed the broadcast as well. We'll be back tomorrow night. New venue at the Idaho Central Arena, which was built around the time that Maverick Center was built back in 1997. We'll be there for the second of 2 preseason games, 6:50 pregame show, 7:05 face-off. And, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But tonight was all Grizzlies, 6-0 the final score. Well, that'll wrap things up. Once again, the final score from Hero Arena at Mountain America Center. Had to think about it for a second. Utah wins 6-0. I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is. We'll talk to you tomorrow night for the second preseason game over in Boise. This is the Utah Grizzlies Audio Network.